you're super prepared. So basically, we're going to be starting the AMA here in a second. But for those of you who haven't participated with us before, the way this works is you tag me in chat with @Zizaran or @PCChild, and then three of my mods are going to help pick out questions and put it in a spreadsheet for me. Then I'll be asking Angry them live, and I'll be asking some of the questions from Reddit as well. So start throwing your questions in now. It can be about anything. It can be about real life. It can be about gaming, Twitch, and he can dodge some questions if they're really bad, but I think he can cover most of them. So yeah, this is the 8th podcast, 8th or 9th, with the AMAs. So thank you so much, Angry, for joining us.
Yeah, cool. It's good to be here. I'm very curious to see what questions come. I guess I'll briefly introduce myself because
What I was about to ask you to do. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been doing the past month.
cool. I've been like always a Path of Excel streamer for maybe coming up 2 years, I guess. But it's been very like sort of spotty, on and off, just as a hobby. And recently, I've decided to take things a little more seriously. Downgraded my job from full time to part time, and I'm streaming like every day now. So. Yeah, like I've been playing Path of Exile for about 5 years, and it's my favorite game. Absolutely love it, and I'm especially known for summoner-based stuff in particular.
Yeah, I actually mentioned you were basically the king of summoners earlier, so I'm sure there'll be some summoner related stuff earlier. And you've been playing the game for a really long time.
Yeah, I mean, basically what happened was I was playing SWOTOR, right? Uh, Star Wars Old Republic, the MMO, and someone really wanted my SWOTOR account, and I was kind of bored of SWOTOR, so they traded me a closed beta Path of Exile key for my SWOTOR account. So I was like, fine, whatever. I played the game. I was like, this game's got a lot of potential. The devs seemed really smart back then in closed beta. You could just like chat to the devs. It was
Hmm.
very personal, very close. So like you could just say your balance ideas, and they were very responsive, and it was awesome. And yeah, like then I went like everybody did to Diablo 3 when it launched, and after like 2 months, I got bored, and I went back to PoE, and I've never really looked back since.
It is a very fantastic game. It's very hard to like play anything else after playing it, especially with the devs
Yeah,
being as good as they are. It's
I
crazy.
just yeah, I feel like it's just got so much momentum, and because they carry on adding cool new stuff, it's like it's going to be really hard for another game to really compete with Path of Exile.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like for me at least, the two best dev companies would be CCP and GGG by far.
Yeah,
They're just so good. Um, Everyone fucks up now and again, Cyclone. So we're gonna start off with some questions from Reddit. You ready?
yeah, just hit me, man.
Did it hate you? Okay, well that's might be illegal to abuse you on Twitch, but we'll see what we can do. The first question is by Preen, and it's what do you think about rips due to performance errors, like what happened to your anime weapon character?
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna tell the story to everybody. Okay, so I'm like, cool guys, I'm gonna play animate weapon. I'm really excited. I level as a freaking summoner, just for extra pain. But we got like a lot of twink gear and stuff, so it's going okay. And I'm like, everyone's like, when you gonna switch? When you gonna switch? And pretty much every story you hear with like half the builds these days is, I'm gonna switch in Merciless Right Leg because that's when you switch to your build. For many builds out there, because that's when things really start to work. So I spend like a day getting there really, and because I'm leveling as a summoner, I get to Giant Lake. My first Giant Lake run, halfway through, I start lagging really badly, and I disconnect. Like I hit my TCP disconnect macro at 100% HP, log back in, I'm fucking dead. Yeah, it's totally shit. And because I live in Taiwan, right? I teach English here in Taiwan part time now, and I think one of the problems is that there's not many good Asian servers on international or GGG. So I play on the Singapore I play on the Singapore gateway, but the problem is that it hits peak capacity very easily, and then it starts lagging like fuck, and then you can die. And my only other option is to play on like California or something, and that's pretty laggy.
So there's no like ideal servers for you right now then.
Yeah, there really isn't. And like, I don't know, I feel like, there's actually a surprising amount of international players that live in Asia. And a lot of them just get frustrated because when they try and play on international, the server literally doesn't have capacity for us. In fact, sometimes it gets full and it boots you to like Australia, and then your ping spikes to 300.
Wow.
So yeah.
Yeah,
um,
that's
that being said, look, I think if you're playing hardcore, this is what you signed up for. You know, like literally every single hardcore player I've ever talked to has died to some random bullshit. You know, like disconnect, dying during a loading screen, dying due to like FPS lag. Like, you know, I mean, I think every softcore player has died to random bullshit as well. But you know, as a hardcore player, you're dead. So, and I think it's, you know, like it's been happening ever since I started playing hardcore back in Diablo 2. It's going to happen forever. It'll probably, you know, as things get more stable and technology gets better, it's going to get better. But, yeah, it sucks. But it's just part of life as far as I see.
fair. I was pretty surprised with, especially like when the labyrinth was announced. I was like, there's going to be so many disconnect deaths here. And I thought there would be
Yeah,
like so many. I was expecting like 5 to 10 a day on Reddit, being like, watch how I died in labyrinth. But there's been like
yeah.
surprisingly few. So definitely getting better.
I actually find I've DC'd once in the labyrinth, and it's actually incredibly tilting. Like, oh my God.
You have
I
to do everything
was
over again.
like,
Or did you die or
I don't know, I didn't die. I just like, I DC'd halfway through, and I'm like, fuck, I've got to do this whole thing
no
again.
checkpoints?
That was like I DC'd halfway through the labyrinth, and I was like, labyrinth progress should be saved. Like immediately, that was my feeling. I was like, it's way too shitty to have to restart the labyrinth all over again. I'm like, you know, like I think when you defeat a Zara, like every phase, it should save your progress. You can go back there until you've cleared your first lab. I don't see the harm in that, honestly.
Yeah. No, I can see it being like possible to put checkpoints in instead of like full restart is a bit harsh.
Yeah. I can just imagine like a casual player, like you're halfway through the lab, and then I don't know, your dad comes or something, and he's like, "Hey, I need you to help me with something," and then you know you log out, you come back, and you're like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
like this sucks."
It is very harsh. And it wouldn't give a big boost to like people that aren't like or people that are hardcore at the game anyway. It wouldn't really change anything. It
Yeah,
would just
exactly. I
help
mean,
casual players.
we're probably just gonna do the labyrinth in one run anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think it's a big deal.
So the next question is by DocBP87. Angry. How do you think the changes to Necromancers will affect SRS builds in 2.3? Do you think SRS is on its way back to being GG top tier?
Okay, so I think with the coming changes to Ascendancy, the biggest change is to the passive Commander of Darkness. There's been a massive buff to Commander of Darkness. I think I could actually pull it up for chat.
Mm-hmm.
I had like a Google Doc that had all the changes. But okay, essentially the numbers for Commander of Darkness have gone absolutely enormous. Commander of Darkness is that you give your allies, including your minions, increased attack speed and increased damage for every aura that you're running. So the real appeal of this is if you're running low life and you can run 6 to 8 auras, say. You could even run like a level 1 clarity to really cheese this mechanic. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be giving, like with 6 auras, you're giving you and your allies 60% damage and 30% attack speed and cast speed always, which
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. And on top of that, Commander of Darkness now just, even if you run one aura, it gives you and your allies 20% elemental resistances. So, um, yeah, it just seems like a really crazy passive. Like you could almost run like a support build just with that. I'll link that in chat for everybody. So I think that's quite a big deal. I think not just in party play, but even solo.
Yeah.
And I think what it's going to really push Necromancer builds to do is to try and build low life late game, because Commander of Darkness is just giving you and your minions so much. Like you can imagine like like any build with whirling blades, right? With like a permanent 30% attack speed. It's just going to be nuts for moving around. You combine that with Flesh Offering, now you're at over 60% attack speed without any investment in the passive tree. Like what? So yeah, it's a really big deal. And basically, Necromancer is going to become, in terms of attack speed and cast speed, the highest stated build. But you know, I don't think it's necessarily going to be competitive in the quote unquote clear speed meta.
Hmm.
But it is a big buff to Necromancers, and it's going to be pretty awesome for them.
I think what's really cool about Commander of Darkness is like you can even run a like level 1 clarity, which I was doing on my VMS before, and
Yeah,
then it was only giving 6% damage and 2% attack and cast speed, but now it's 5% attack and cast speed just for reserving like what 30 of your mana with a enlighten. It's
yeah,
ridiculous,
yeah.
crazy good.
You can definitely find some cheesy ways of getting a little bit of extra out of it. Yeah, I think the level one clarity thing is a good idea. I mean, you know, if you're playing like a real summoner build, it's going to be difficult to fit in all the gems. But if you're playing like a, if you're going for like a Blade Vortex or VMS style Necro,
Yeah,
where you're just really going for the bone offering, then yeah, you could definitely do that quite easily.
yeah,
I honestly think like a pure support necro could become very good, where you just like go low life warriors, you know, with curse on hit, and just give everybody crazy amounts of attack and cast speed. You know, I think could be quite a big deal. Like that combined with Vol haste, and everyone's just going to be moving around like lightning. And if you're spamming bone offering on yourself, you'll never die. So
yeah.
like it could actually be like a very I could actually be quite competitive with something like instead of a guardian, like for more for speed than for safety. Uh, it could be a really good option as like a pure support build.
Cool. Yeah, no, I agree. I think low life's gonna be crazy as well, especially with whirling blades. I
Yeah.
kind of guessing they'll change that a little bit. Um, Next question is by You Get Kissed, and it's do you have any builds ready for 2.3?
Uh, well, I mean, I have some build ideas kind of planned. I haven't like ironed out every single detail, but I got a couple of really cool ideas. I mean, you know, I pretty much have a build idea for nearly every ascendancy, but some in particular I'm very excited about. I guess you could say Slayer, I think, is one of the most exciting ascendancies coming with all the changes because Slayer's fucking crazy, to put it lightly.
Mildly, yeah.
Like 50% reduced physical reflect. You can get 40% increased AoE from the Slayer tree alone. So one of the builds I thought would be quite exciting, just for fun, is Blade Vortex, right? You
Yeah.
can go Blade Vortex as a Slayer. You got like you halve your physical reflect, so you don't really give a shit about physical reflect. You have enormous AoE. The Slayer gets like you can kill people when they're 20% or below. That synergizes really, really, really well with Blade Vortex since you're just hitting really fast all the time. So you're basically killing everything once it hits 20%, like pretty much
Hmm.
immediately, especially bosses. And you could probably keep up Onslaught the entire map once you kill your first rare. So I think it would be a really fast clearing build. I think that would be quite nice. I think the real cookie cutter, super powerful Slayer build will be Slayer Earthquake. Slayer
Hmm.
Earthquake with like a Morohi and 40% increased AoE, you'll probably be literally hitting the entire screen. And you won't have to worry about reflect, probably. So,
Probably.
I, yeah, you could. I mean, at worst, you could use a Sibyl's Lament,
Yeah.
which further reduces your reflect damage. So, I mean, I think Slayer Earthquake will probably be a top meta build. So if you know if you're into that kind of thing, it's going to be fun. But I like to when I make builds, I like to go like a little, a little otherwise, a little hipster if I can. So I think that
Open-minded.
the Blade Vortex would be appealing to me in that regard for Slayer.
Yeah,
Um,
personally, I'm like really keen on Reeve.
oh yeah, Reeve, of course. I always forget about Reeve. Oh, Reeve. Uh, Reeve will be amazing. I mean, and again, like the 40% AoE will be great. Like all the physical stuff will be great, and it'll probably synergize with the Slayer tree more than like Blade Vortex, right? The Reeve will be crazy. This is the difference between you and I is that I freaking hate attack builds, especially early in the league, because I need to get
Yeah.
a good weapon. Right, it drives me crazy. Like I can't like I play like a physical build, and if I can't get a good weapon, I
Hmm.
just feel like the build is shit, or at the very least very average. And then you get that awesome weapon, you get like your 10x or whatever, and you buy this weapon, then suddenly everything is amazing.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that. But thankfully, Benos exists, which is a pretty usable weapon as long as you go dagger.
Yeah.
Next question is it's a two-pronged question by Willie Wazer.
Ooh.
One, how would you make melee on par with range? And if you could make Zizaran play one build, whether it would be dreadful or glorious, what would it be?
Okay, I'm gonna answer the second question first. Uh, I would I would force this to play something that has really bad clear speed because I think that would be hilarious.
I don't.
Um, I think Ziz gravitates towards the highest clear speed build possible. He's a very efficient player, so we'd have to find a great way to torment him. I think maybe something like a heavy strike melee splash build sounds good to me. Like heavy strike melee splash juggernaut sounds sounds wonderful. Ziz, how
Doesn't.
do you feel about that?
No, it doesn't sound nice at all. I wouldn't do
Uh,
that to you.
Gazzy has an even better idea: summon skeleton build.
Oh my god, kill me.
like again, I know like I pretty much know most things about summoners, and I think I would cringe really hard at trying to do a summon skeleton build. It's like freaking awful skill. Yeah. So what is the first question again? I completely forgot.
The
It's
first
early in
question
the.
was, how would you make melee be on par with range?
Oh, I actually remember talking about this in chat with my stream. And by the way, just a quick shout out to all my wonderful viewers and followers, who most of them are not around right now because they're probably asleep or at work or something. But those of you who are here, I do recognize a couple of names in chat. It's great to have you guys here for the AMA. Thank you. Um, I think I remember one really amazing suggestion in chat for helping melee compete with range, and I kind of agree with this, and that is, okay, A, removing permanent fortify from champion. I think it's unfair that range classes can get melee's defense.
Mhm.
Okay, I think that's a bit bullshit. And the next step is that fortify's like duration and effect should be based on the amount of melee damage that you do. Okay, like it would be a very complicated thing to scale, but like relative to your life, relative to your level, the more damage you do, the stronger your fortify becomes. So what that means is that if you like whirling blades and dealing one damage to enemies all around you, you don't really even get fortify. Like it lasts like a split second, or it doesn't. It mitigates like 1% of your damage. But if you're hitting enemies, consistently and hard, then your fortify becomes super strong. Then the next step is to make the game hard enough that that fortify mitigation actually matters, right? Like right now in PoE, I would say I don't know if it would actually matter, right? Like you being tough and tanky is not very advantageous in the meta. Right now, it's about how fast can you move and can you kill things while you're moving, right? That's basically like when it comes to like the super min max aspect of the meta, that's really the deal. But if we lived in a world where there were moments in the game when you're like, man, I love being super tough and tanky, and actually it kind of sucks being caught unprepared as a squishy range build, that would make melee more impactful and more desirable. I mean, it's kind of weird. Okay, I hate to say this because I'm not a huge fan of Diablo 3. I respect Diablo 3, but one of the benefits about Diablo 3 is that melee characters just take less damage than
Mhm.
range characters, and there are situations where that's quite useful. You know, and I kind of wish that there's a lot of things I don't want in Diablo 3 coming to PoE, trust me, but that's one thing I would kind of like. That as a melee character, you're like, like maybe I don't clear quite as fast as ranged in many situations, but there are other times when ranged is terrified, and I'm like, I don't give a shit, which would be nice.
Any other changes you want? No.
Mainly, I think mainly it comes down to damage mitigation. I mean,
Mhm.
uh, I guess like the current trend that GGG is doing with melee is let's just turn melee into ranged, like earthquake,
Yeah.
like let's give them ice crash AoE and make it bigger, or Reeve, which is like I wave my wand, I mean my claws, and I hit the entire screen. Uh, and like that is a way to balance melee, but it feels a little unthematic to me, I guess.
Yeah, I think they need to like move ground stam up a notch because right now it's basically a whirling blades meta more than anything. Like more
Yeah,
than if it's just ranged for melee, it's just whirling blades. If your blade or if your build doesn't have whirling blades, you're not going to clear fast enough.
yeah. Like I did a chaos wonder obliteration build, and it was really good. Like I literally just one shot packs
Yeah,
all the time everywhere, and people were like, "Yeah, this build's okay," but like you're not whirling blades, so it's
exactly.
not quite fast enough.
Same
And
with
I did like
Voltaxic.
everything. Okay? Like I went 30% movement speed boots, 20% movement speed helm, increased effects, quicksilvers, everything. I was moving lightning fast. Still not as fast as a good whirling build.
I agree. No, I definitely want that changed. The next question is by Insane Metal 187. What made you fall in love with summoners from your gaming career? Is there anything in particular you like about how GGG do it?
Okay, are you ready for story time?
Yep.
Because this has quite a story. So I don't know if any of you can place my accent, but I'm from South Africa, right? Uh, and now most South Africans have like a yabby, like Philly, hey, like I'm South African. That's like a Dutch accent, but I don't really have that accent because my most of my family is British, so
All right.
I guess I have like a weird hybrid accent. I don't know. I go hybrid in real life. Now, um, I really got into action RPGs, I guess during Diablo 1, but also, my big action RPG was Diablo 2. And when I played online, South African internet is rated as like probably like top 10 worst internet in the world. Okay? Like straight up, it's fucking terrible. They like to give you an example of how bad South African internet is, they did a test where they were going to download a movie, and someone raced the download of the movie with a carrier pigeon carrying the information on a USB from one side of the country to the other. By the time the carrier pigeon arrived to the other side of the country, the download had been like 11% done.
No.
So yeah, it's super awful. Like when I left South Africa 2 years ago, the highest upload I could get on a home connection, highest possible, was zero 0.9 megabytes a second. Really, really, really bad. Now I come to Taiwan and my connection can, if I want to, I could get 1,000 up, 1,000 down in Taiwan. So, totally different world. Anyway, the point being is that another thing is Africa never gets any service for any games, right? So,
Hmm.
I go play Diablo and there's no African server. So anyway, what this means is that I fell in love with hardcore in Diablo 2, right? I was like, hardcore is the way I want to play. I don't care how laggy it is. I don't care how shitty it is. I want to play hardcore. So I was like, how can I play hardcore and not die? Honestly, I play Sorceress, I'll die. I play Paladin, I'll die. So then I ended up coming to Necromancer. And firstly, I was like, hey, I like having a bunch of dudes fighting for me. This is great, right? This feels good. I like this. I like this play style. Also, I like being like evil. Actually, if I follow my gaming history, I've always liked to play like the evil guys. Like I played Undead in Warcraft 3. I played Zerg in StarCraft. Always played the evil guys. Love the evil guys. Anyway, so with high lag, I felt like Summoner was the only kind of play style I could play in hardcore very successfully. Like I got all the way to the end. I got to level 98 back in Diablo 2, and then I died to like a bugged corpse explosion and nightmare difficulty. Uh, um, but yeah, ever since then I've loved Summoner. So when PoE came, it wasn't like what does PoE do right with Summoners. I was like, I want to play a Summoner. I
Hmm.
hope that it's not shitty in PoE, right? And then it was actually shitty initially, but it got steadily better. Um,
I almost ruined your
Summoners,
dream.
yeah, Summoners have an interesting history in PoE, and I would say that like they're probably one of the most complicated builds in the game. And like the amount of effort and knowledge you put in isn't necessarily what you get out. So like I look at a lot of strong builds out there, and it's not as hard to get the build like to be slightly better than a summoner or as good as a summoner. Like I think summoners get a bad rep in PoE because people don't know what they're doing with them, or they make one or two critical mistakes and then the entire build falls apart, right? Like they don't cap their minions' resists, they don't use certain gems, they don't know how to like control summoners with like spells and attacks. But once you know everything, Summoner is actually a solid build. It's not Voltaxic Spark, it's not meta defining, but it is solid. You can clear all the content and you'll be fine. There will be a few annoying quality of life issues, like your specters might die sometimes, but overall, you can get a pretty good experience per hour and do pretty good. That's basically my story
Cool.
about why. I mean, I love summoners and why I got into summoner gameplay style.
Did you play Dungeon Keeper by any chance?
I did.
It's good to be bad. I was like, as soon as you
It's
said that, I was
good
like
to be
thinking,
bad.
this you love this game.
I actually miss slapping imps.
Fucking knew it.
Yeah, in Dungeon Keeper, you can just like pick up imps and drop them on the ground, and it's like, whoosh, and they're like, "Waka!" It's just actually one of my favorite games of all time, especially Dungeon Keeper 2. Absolutely love it.
Not a
There's
nice
actually
guy
a new
PoE.
Dungeon Keeper. There's a new Dungeon
I
Keeper that's
know.
like made by fans. It's like I think last time I checked, it was like in beta or something. I'm waiting for it to like fully launch, and then I'm gonna play the
Yeah,
hell
I,
out of
I
it.
actually bought it. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Yeah,
Apparently it's coming out now.
okay. I heard mixed reviews, but yeah, Dungeon Keeper 2 was something special.
Yeah, I think you have to be a fan to like the new one, but it's a lot of fun. I enjoyed playing it. Next question is by Wahoo. Why is your name AngryAA? It does not seem like you're very angry. The AA, what does it stand for, and how did you come up with it?
Oh God, more story time. Okay, hope you're ready. Uh, the first game I played competitively and successfully was Warcraft 3. Like I was very, very, very competitive in Warcraft 3, and it was my first real big game. As like a teenager. I got to the point where I was ranked number 2 in South Africa. It's just South Africa, I know, but like I won. Like I made some money. I won some competitions. I flew around the country. People knew my name for the first time in my life. Like I would show up at a LAN and people were like, "Oh wow, like you're Q6 Black," because at the time my name was Q6 Black, and uh, and I was really 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 into Warcraft 3. I was pretty damn good. So my my favorite Warcraft 3 player of all time was a gamer called a Korean player called Angry Korea Man, all caps, right? Angry Korea Man. One of the things that I loved about Angry Korea Man in Warcraft 3 was Warcraft 3 was a game all about micro, right? It was all about everyone does the same strategy every time, and it's all about like controlling your armies very carefully and like having like good creep patterns, like killing neutral monsters around the map like, in an intelligent way. And there wasn't me I'm someone that loves like creativity and thinking of new things. That's actually why I love PoE. I love thinking of new builds, coming up with like funky ideas. But Warcraft 3 didn't really have that, and it was like, probably one of my biggest beefs with the game. Even though I loved Warcraft 3, I was like, I can't really be creative in this. Angry Career Man comes right out of nowhere, and he just takes these like really inventive strategies that no one's ever seen before, and he beats the best players in the world with them. Like these bizarre strategies. People are like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" He's using a hero that no one ever uses. It's a shit hero. He's like building towers everywhere. He's expanding everywhere. He's playing this like Command and Conquer, like he's playing it like StarCraft. And he was crushing people. People didn't know how to beat him because like they had this like very like two-dimensional way of playing, and he wasn't fitting into that mold. And his strategies were great. And like it took a long time for people to figure out how to actually beat him. Anyway, and he was kind of bad manner, like caps and like he'd just be like fuck you. And I was great. I thought he was awesome. So I decided I was inspired, and I wanted to play like him. So I called myself Angry Africa Man was my name. And anyway, so then I kept Angry Africa Man, and that ended up getting somewhat shortened to Angry African. Angry African was my gaming nick for many years, and continued into the StarCraft scene, where I was very competitive in StarCraft 2, but then what happened was I made a Twitch TV account at some time, and this was back in South Africa. I never had a hope of streaming in South Africa. I was never going to stream. So I was just coming up with like a random name so I could like follow people, follow my favorite streams as a viewer. And Angry African was taken, so I just went AngryAA to shorten it. And then that was my Twitch name. And then when I started streaming, I didn't think of like remaking my account and coming up with another name or something, so I just became AngryAA. So the AA means literally nothing. It's just part of my name now, I guess. And I'm not angry at all.
Yeah.
I'm a really chilled out dude. It's actually like some people say it's like a branding problem, right? Like it's a bad thing that my name's Angry because I'm a really chilled out guy and people think it's like a rage stream or something, and it's really not. So I don't really know what to do about that. But I mean, in some ways the other thing is like it's my name,
Yeah.
It's like the whole "My Name Is Sue" song by what's his name? I don't know if you've heard of that.
Oh.
It's like this like manly dude. His name is Sue, and like he just ends up beating up everybody because he's like, "Screw you, my name is Sue, but I'm still a man," right? And like he's all angry and stuff about it. And I'm like, I'm a chilled out dude. My name is Angry, but that's just how it is.
The people come expecting you to be angry and then just leave like hideously disappointed. Didn't even rage once. Must be having a great day.
I've had people in my chat who are like, yeah, the only reason I saw your stream was because like somebody hosted you, and I never visited your stream because I thought you were like a rage streamer, and I actually like chilled out dudes.
Ah.
And now I love you because you're a chilled out dude.
You're a chilled out dude. That's pretty good. Yeah, I actually thought you were going to be really angry when I was watching you, and I was like, you're just having a really good day, or like, where's the rage? Like,
Every day is a good day for me. I am literally the most chilled out person I know. I'm very chilled out. People get annoyed with me because like we go to a restaurant and they're like, "Hey, Angry, what do you want to eat?" I'm like, "I'll have what you're having. I'm sure it'll be interesting." And they're like, "Just choose something." I'm like, I really don't mind. Like, I love food.
you sound like everyone's girlfriend. The next the next question is by Nidhogg777. Did you start playing on softcore or hardcore, and what was your first build? Was it a summoner?
Yes, it kind of was. Okay, so you must understand that when I started playing PoE, this was like a long time ago. When I started playing PoE, Vol Oversoul was not in the game yet. So like, Act 1 was in the game, and half of Act 2 was in the game. So this is really early days. I joined PoE closed beta a week after they added the ability to vendor items. So like you couldn't even vendor items until like a week ago. So this was like the wild, wild west of PoE. Shit was like super, super simple. And there weren't even that many skills in the game. But there was an end game. There was Maelstrom of Chaos, right? And that was like, it was actually quite cool. You could go there like, near the end of Act 2 after doing 4 difficulties. and the monsters there were insanely overtuned. They could basically two-shot you. Yeah, it was kind of lame. The very few builds could actually do the Maelstrom of Chaos. Basically, the meta build at the time was GMP Ice Spear because you could freeze everything, like stacking crit, and that was the only way to not die. Melee was completely unviable and stayed unviable for a very long time. Anyway, so my very first build, I was like, cool, PoE. I find the zombie gem. I'm like, this is great. Funny thing is that the zombie gem was actually really overpowered in the beginning of PoE, and with absolutely no passive tree investment, your zombies could be like completely invulnerable to damage. They would never die, right? Which was great, and they did pretty good damage. So, in, my newbie way, I was like, I'm gonna go like with a zombie meat shield wall to tank for me, and then I'm gonna spark because spark seems like a pretty good skill. Again, it was one of the first skills added in PoE, so that was my build. I went zombie spark, and I ran around. I played hardcore because by the way, my highest level softcore character that wasn't achieved by dying in hardcore is level 22. So I've I've probably played less softcore than every single person in the stream. Uh, probably anyway. There might be one or two diehards like me. I just love hardcore. It's just the way I play. I like the tension. I like the heart pounding, thumping moments. So yeah, and I got to the Maelstrom of Chaos. I cleared like a couple of Maelstrom Chaos zones. My zombies were tanking for me, and then like one monster got through my zombie wall and two-shot me.
Wow.
I was like, "Fuck!"
No, that sounds brutal. I kind of wish I played more then.
Yeah, and then I immediately re-rolled. I actually ended up playing like a Ground Slam character. Ground Slam was surprisingly good back then. They actually nerfed it a bit after I was playing, and I did pretty well in some races as well. But again, I got to my Maelstrom of Chaos, and then I just died again.
It sounds like, what was the resist penalty in the fourth act? That sounds horrible.
I can't even remember. Like, I think it might have been the same as Merciless, actually. I think it was the same as Merciless. The real thing was, like, the game wasn't so bad it was honestly a bit easy, up to Maelstrom of Chaos. But once you hit Maelstrom of Chaos, they just were way overtuned. It was only when they added the mapping system that they realized that having white monsters with the ability to two-hit you was not a good idea.
Sounds hilarious. I wish I played it. They should do a proper flashback.
Yeah. Oh god. I mean, I actually kind of like the idea of Maelstrom of Chaos. I always thought it should be like a cool end-game alternative to mapping. Because like the idea with Maelstrom of Chaos is every time you went deeper, like the level got higher and like you got a new zone. So, you would start off at like level 60 and go 61, 62, 63. I can't remember how high level it went up to, like 68 or something. Or 70. But the way that people cheesed it, right? Because you know how we are as PoE players.
We cheese it.
Mechanics. People would just speed run through, right? Like you get a rotation group, so you get 6 of you, all speed running through the Maelstrom of Chaos until someone found ledge, right? The ledge layout. And then everyone would enter your TP and you'd clear ledge. And you'd just carry on doing that. So basically it was like you basically made an endless ledge with Maelstrom of Chaos. And that's why like the unique Maelstrom of Chaos map is like a ledge layout. It's like a homage to that like power game strategy that everyone had back then in the beta. It's pretty cool.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually had no idea that's how it works. I thought you were talking about like as soon as you finished the difficulties, you got to do the unique map. I was like, cool. But, yeah, very different then.
Yeah.
So the last Reddit question now by Nilki is, and then we're gonna be moving on to all the questions that are piled up from chat. Is one is Spirit Offering? Well, it's 3 questions, so I'll just give you one at a time. One is Spirit Offering any good for summoners?
Okay, Spirit Offering any good for summoners? Those of you who don't know, Spirit Offering is like a new offering, basically summoner type skill that's coming with the launch of Prophecy. What it does is it gives your minions like all resists, like 20 all resists. It gives them added chaos damage from physical, and it gives them a percentage of their life as energy shield, right? I think what's interesting about Spirit Offering is you can basically make your minions nigh invulnerable by spamming it because you're just going to carry on regenerating a portion of their life as energy shield. And the fact that it gives them resists is really useful in the early game. So I think Spirit Offering is great for leveling as a summoner because the biggest issue summoners have early game is not minion damage per se, it's minion survivability. Your minions just die. So I think Spirit Offering basically covers every single early game weakness of minions. As soon as you hit the mid game, Flesh Offering is better. As soon as you hit the super late game, Flesh Offering is still the best for clear speed, and Bone Offering is now best for survivability. So I feel like Spirit Offering is very niche. It's basically a leveling offering, and that's it. Honestly.
And what would you say is the strongest summoner build for prophecy without seeing patch notes?
I would like to say anime weapon, but I know that's not the case. I would say a variation of the build I did in Pirandus. Actually, some of you might have seen this build done. It was done by Ziggy D as well. It was basically my build guide, um, which was you go SRS, Spectre, Zombies, Anime Guardian, and you use the unique shield called Victorious Charity. Victorious Charity combined with Necromantic Aegis allows your minions to generate Frenzy and Power Charges. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that minions get different benefits from charges than players do. So, like one Frenzy charge for a minion gives them like 5% movement speed, 15% attack speed, 4% more damage, and yeah. And yeah, I think that's it. 15% attack and cast speed. So three frenzy charges is giving them 45% increased attack and cast speed, 15% increased movement speed, and 12% more damage, which is crazy. And every single power charge is giving them 200% chance to crit. So three power charges is going to give them 600% increased critical strike chance, which is again crazy. All your minions get this bonus with Necromantic Aegis. So I was running a build where like have all these minions, and then you run Victorious Charity, and your minions are actually getting a surprising amount of crits in. They're very fast, super high attack and cast speed, and they do pretty damn good damage. And you use like an advancing fortress or an Aurum Vorax so you can whirl around. And it was with a double essence worm MOM, you had a huge effective life pool, good mitigation, good clear speed. It was a good it's a really good build. It's not again it's not like tier one meta, but it's it's just underneath that, I would say. It's a really good build. And I was funny because I think summoners have gotten a bad rap in Pirandus. People don't know this is what happens with summoners. Like people don't know what they're doing with summoners. They try and make a summoner, it sucks, and then they're like summoners suck. And then I'm always like, actually, you missed out a couple of things. Like you didn't optimize it correctly. Like optimized summoner. Like I remember Ziggy playing it. He was like, wow, I don't understand why people were saying summoners are so bad. This build is crushing. Yeah, it's pretty solid. And I think Victorious Charity is kind of like the number one unique for summoners in general these days. It's just super. It basically puts your minions on crack. Oh, and it gives you and your party permanent frenzy charges, and most of the time you have power charge uptime as well. It's like super conduit.
Cool. Like the only summoner I've played personally was the Righteous Fire Spectre summoners for a lot of fun.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this brings us to the third question from Nilhi. What is the most enjoyable build you've ever played?
Most enjoyable build I've ever played. Huh. Okay, I enjoyed this build because it was ridiculously abusive. And I do enjoy ridiculously abusive builds. But back in the earlier days of PoE, you could do minion snapshotting. So that was like you could put on a bunch of gear, summon your minions, and then take it off, and your minions would remember that gear, right? So I did like the most ridiculous abusive chain of events you could possibly imagine with summoners. It required a lot of knowledge and a lot of optimization. It was really fun. So I would summon all my specters on a 6 link in my chest armor, and then I would remove the 6 link and put on like a lightning coil, and keep like the specter gem in my chest armor with only 1 link, and it would remember the fact that they're 6 link. And then I would summon my zombies in a Bringer of Rain with Montregals. So they were like supersized Bringer of Rain zombies. They were like 8 links. And again, I would take off the Bringer of Rain, and they would remember all those links. And you could basically run around with like a shit ton of like insanely linked minions and just destroy everything. It's hilariously overpowered and have like amazing tanky gear. And it was really, really, really strong. Like crazy, crazy strong build. Snapshotting literally took, every time you like logged in, it took about 30 minutes to do the full setup,
All right.
which was a bit like, because you're putting on like 8 different items, all giving buffs to your minions and swapping out gems. And if you fucked anything up, you had to start from square one. But once you did all that, you were like an unstoppable killing machine. Yeah.
Sounds shit to disconnect with.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So your favorite build isn't Voltaxic Spark? That's
I
unfamiliar
know,
to
right?
me. So.
I know. Sorry.
So first question from chat is by Coffin Angel. Good morning, Angry. How does it feel to be up at 6:30 a.m.?
It's weird, right? I haven't actually woken up this early in a very long time.
Ouch. I
Coffin Angel is
apologize.
from Coffin Angel is one of my stream viewers. He's from Taiwan, just like me. So
Cool. So he woke up early just to see you. That's pretty cool.
I know it's pretty
Or
hardcore.
stayed up late.
Yeah,
Yeah, I apologize for waking up so early. Then
that's okay.
Another question is by idiots there. Is Essence Drain and Contagion going to be solo self-found viable in 2.3 in your opinion?
Uh, so here's the thing about Essence Drain Contagion. I love the build. It's very strong. It's very strong in solo self-found if you have a tabula. If you don't have a tabula, I think you're going to struggle with damage. Now, that's not really being a big issue in Parandus, and that's why you saw if you followed like the solo self-found the solo self-found race that was set up by Rise, there were a lot of Essence Drain Contagion builds that were doing really well, but nearly all of them were using tabulas because Essence Drain just needs the damage. But once it gets that damage, it's insane. So I would say solo self-found, again, without a tabula, you're going to be struggling. Until you get a 5 link, you're probably not even going to be using the skill at all. I think on a 4 link, it's really weak. On a 5 link, it's acceptable, but not great. And then on a 6 link, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how do you feel about, like, I don't know if you were here for the solo self-found, like, league that a few of the community set up, like Rise and Havoc and stuff. But do you think that an actual, like, solo self-found tag should be part of the game?
Yeah, I think it would be great. Like basically, when you make your character, there's like a little check mark that says, you know, self-found, and if you check it, you can't trade. And then you don't have to. You can prove that you self-found. And I think like you usually say like, oh no, you don't want that. Like just if you don't want to trade, don't trade. But like part of the fun of games is imposing limitations on yourself, like actual rules,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that you're forced to not trade. That everyone knows you never traded, and like you can prove that. I think is quite valuable. And like it's just a little checkbox, right? That most people won't check, but people who do can enjoy a playstyle that that they want. I think and it means people could create communities around that, right? I think it would be great for the game. They can
Uh,
still play in the same league. They can see the
yeah.
same people walking around town. They just can't trade. They can't pick up currency dropped by other players. Like the technology for this is already there. So I think it would be a huge plus for the game.
And how do you feel about, like, do you think that should ever expire, or should you be able to turn that off? Or, like, say you have a 98 character and you made it to SSF 5 years ago. Do you think that should stay SSF, or
Yeah, like I think it should be like a hardcore character, right? So when you make the character, you check mark SSF and that's done. You can never trade with that character. You
broken
want to trade?
character?
You want to trade? You need to make a trading character.
Hmm.
Because
And
honestly, at this point, with how efficient and effective PoE trade is, playing PoE without trading and playing PoE with trading is a completely fucking
yeah.
different game. Like, it might as well be a completely different game. Like, having played Solo Self-Found, like I played a Lightning Arrow Ranger to like level 80 something, I was amazed at how different the game felt to me. I'm so used to trading and getting everything I need very quickly and efficiently, and it was a real struggle at times, and finding items was fun. I really enjoyed Solo Self-Found a lot, and I learned a lot about the game, because like suddenly I had to worry a lot more about recipes, and it became less about efficiency, and became more about, God, I need X, I need Y, I need to be vendoring res for alterations, yada yada yada. So playing the game in a very different way, and I really enjoyed that. And I feel like offering that to players would be great, with the
Mm.
checkbox thing. And not only that, but it inspires players to play in that playstyle if they want to. So you make a character and you're like, oh look, like I can play a non-trading character, like that's an option. Like Diablo 3, by the way. Like Diablo 3 has that as a default. But isn't that kind of cool that like people who can come from Diablo 3 who maybe don't like trading can then have that in PoE and still play an awesome game in PoE, but they don't have to go through the whole trading rigmarole if they don't want to. Like now it's an option. I think it's pretty cool. Mm.
Hopefully it's something they will add. I mean, there's a surprising, like, actually engagement with the community effort, and that was mostly advertised through Reddit as much as I saw. So it was pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
I
Um, yeah, carry on. Sorry.
No, I was just saying, I think what GGG are worried about is they might almost be worried about solo self-found getting like too popular and what it does, or even just self-found. Like, I think being able to party with other self-found players is fine if you can't trade with them. Um, but I think what they might be worried about is that it might reduce the community aspect because by removing trading, you're removing a big social element and you're removing like GGG's game is built around trading. Like everything can be commodified. Like even in the upcoming Prophecy League, you can turn the prophecies into items. I mean, that makes absolutely no sense, but they're doing it because it's cool, right? And like in PoE, you can basically turn everything into an item. I mean, the freaking skill system is item based, you
Yep.
know. So like that's probably why they probably don't even get it. They're like, man, we make this awesome trading game with like everything is an item, and people don't want to trade. Like, what is wrong with you? You know, like you're playing our game wrong. Which is why there's probably like, I mean, from a game designer's perspective, it is weird. And from a game designer's perspective, you don't want them to do this because it feels like they're not taking part in the game fully. So you'd be like, let's not give them the option so that they might be tempted to trade and get into trading. I'm like, I think it would be good for the game if there was a self-found tag that you could activate,
Hmm.
but that's probably GGG's perspective.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. And while we're talking about that, you mentioned gems. Do you think gems should be limited now that we have a Sensei, or do you think that all classes should have all gems? For like, sure, the same quests and stuff, but like right now, for example, a Marauder can't get played full and stuff like that.
Yeah, look, I mean, a long time ago, gems were severely restricted. I remember reduced mana costing 2 chaos. You could make a lot of money as a marauder selling reduced manas. And you couldn't buy gems with vendors, so you just got them from skill from quests, and then you just had to find them yourself or buy them. But I say once we've gotten to the point where gems aren't rare at all, so you might as well drop the final barrier and let it so any class can buy any gems. I think at this point it's kind of pointless.
Yeah, I think it's especially frustrating like on day one, where
Mm.
especially like while pushing ladder, I remember like Carve and stuff were like, fuck, who's going which? We need flame fire traps and shit. It's so frustrating to like need those extra 3 minutes for a mule, and it's
Yeah.
just it doesn't feel immersive or like as it should be in part of the game.
It feels gamey, yeah, right? It feels like, oh, I need to make a mule to buy a gem and
Yeah,
make sure I do this before I start leveling so the gem levels up with me. Yeah, it feels really awkward.
yeah, it's like I need to prep before playing the actual game.
Mm.
The next question is by Quicksilver. What is the first moment you remember in your life? We're going deep.
We're going deep now, guys. I have a very clear memory of my first moment that I remember. I think I don't remember stuff when I was like 2. I think it was like I was like 4 or 5. Basically, I was in like a costume, uh, and I was like running out of this like university house I was living with my parents with, and you must understand when I was a little kid, I had like big rolling locks of golden curly hair and blue eyes, and I was fat, fat little kid, right? And I'm running around in like a little speedo, yellow speedo, and it was a really hot day in South Africa, and I was like, I want to swim. But back then, I like as a kid, I was really poor. My family was very poor when I was a kid, so we didn't have a swimming pool or anything like that. And but I wanted to swim, so like I ran outside, and then I ran to like a tap, of water, and then I just turned the tap on, and I pretended I was swimming in like under the tap, like lying in the mud on my tummy, going like I'm swimming, watch, I'm swimming, like shouting out to like my brother and my dad. Basically 5-year-old kid stuff.
Wow, that's pretty good. I don't remember anything until I'm like 15. Um, right. Next question is by Wild Orgasm. What is the best and worst part of being a streamer?
Okay, so man, I always have these like long answers, right? But
It's good.
I'm a person of reasons. Like for me, reasons are very important. Like for why I do things. Um, I think the best part of being a streamer for me is like I'm a drama major. Okay, like that was what I did in university. Like I went to university. I'm like I want to do what I love. I was like I want to do drama. I love talking. I love engaging. I love performing, and that and by the way, my hobby has always been gaming. So gaming plus drama, streaming, right? It's like the perfect thing for me. I can use everything I learned in drama. Like, look, I was like a creepy awkward nerd when I was a little kid. Okay, I'm still a creepy awkward nerd. I'm just better at hiding it, right?
Oh wow. Wait, do you have an angry W emote?
No, not yet, but I want to get one.
I'm gonna make
Um,
one too.
but yeah, like I was a super creepy, awkward nerd, and now I just hide it very well. Now I have a reasonably confident exterior that's all custom made, right? It's not natural at all. But now it is because I've been doing, I've been confident for years. I've went on stage in front of hundreds of people and not being scared. anyway, so when you know, like streaming is just such a natural extension of my personality. I love it. I love streaming because I get to play video games, which I love, and I get to interact and engage with an audience. And like my specialty in drama was interactive theater, which again, Twitch TV. So yeah, you know, like it's perfect for me. I love streaming so much. It makes me very happy. And I'm actually very introverted. You know, I don't go to parties. I don't go out much. So it's kind of a great kind of social outlet for me. I can like hang out with people, and you know, I see like many of my viewers, especially my regular viewers, as like my friends. You know, like
Yeah.
um, it's really cool to hang out with them. I think the worst part of streaming is it's very time consuming. So sometimes, like now that I'm streaming 6 hours every day at a minimum, uh, sometimes I feel like I don't have a lot of personal time to myself. Like I'm like, man, I just want to like sit and like watch a episode of like Game of Thrones, you know, and I actually can't do that right now because
Yeah.
I don't have the time. Like in between making YouTube videos and streaming, and I still have work part time as an English teacher. So you know, like I work a couple hours every day. I really don't have time if I want to, you know, if I want to do everything I want to do. And I always feel like as a streamer, like there's more things I got to do. Like there's always more things I want to do. So yeah, it's just like your plate is endlessly full.
Cool. Well, I mean, it can't all be positives. There are like so many good things about streaming as well, and you get to
Yeah.
meet so many people. Really
I
cool.
mean, streaming is, you know, like I say, because I'm basically my current plan is I'm going full time for a year
Hmm.
streaming, and if I can make enough money to live decently, by decently like I mean like cover all my living expenses and save a little bit of money after that, then I'm going to carry on doing full time streaming. If I can't do that after a year, I'm just going to stream for as a hobby, and I'm just going to teach full time to make cash because I like teaching.
Yeah.
So this is like I'm giving myself a year to make it work, and I you know to to give myself an honest shot. I'm working hard at it, and I've literally only been doing it for 2 weeks, so it's like a plenty of time. The full time streaming aspect. Um, but yeah, I do love it. I absolutely love streaming. I think I'll probably be streaming until the day I die, um, full time or part time.
Cool, that's really good. I mean, one of the things I find really weird about streaming is especially interacting with other streamers. Because, for example, previous to this, we've only talked in chat to each other. Like, I would have said something in chat, and you would have responded on cam, or you would have said something in my chat, and I would have responded on cam. This is our first time, like, talking with voice,
Mm,
which is really
it's true.
weird, like, on every AMA and stuff as well. And I
What?
remember particularly the first time I went on the State of Exile podcast. Like, that was very new to streaming as well. I got asked a question, and I saw it was like 3,800 in chat or something. Fully panicked. What the fuck? And then Zeno goes like, "So Ziz, how do you feel about this?" And I was like, "Potatoes." So it's very different. But sorry, what were you gonna say?
I just think it's weird. Like I'm talking to you for the first time, and I didn't even realize that because I've watched hours of your stream,
Hmm.
and I'm very familiar with your voice and the way you talk. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And someone did like someone was describing how they explained Twitch to other people, and it is like a one-on-one experience. It really is. Like, even though there's like several hundred other people watching, it does feel like a one-on-one experience.
Mm.
So even like meeting someone you've seen on Twitch, it is like, oh, I know this person, even if you necessarily don't know them.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very unique.
Mm.
Let's see. The next question is by Ryan, 102,874. And the question is, has Angry looked at the new manifesto yet? And how would you play his hardcore dual obliteration wander now, knowing the changes?
Cool. Good question. I actually made a video. I made a YouTube video. Huh. On my YouTube channel. I made a YouTube video talking about the manifesto changes, in particular the patch notes. I haven't made a video about the ascendancy stuff, so I'm probably going to do that after this AMA. Um, I think the notes in general are interesting. I know they're probably just cliff notes, so there's probably a lot more details that are coming that we don't know about. But at least we have the ascendancy, you know, stuff in detail. Basically, my dual obliteration chaos wonder used elementalist
Mhm.
to crush face. Elementalist is even a better option now because you're getting more proliferation AoE. But like a lot of the things that they've added to elementalist don't really matter. Like the reflect reduction doesn't matter because you chaos, and 8 points is not really a big deal because again, you know, you don't really do elemental damage, so like the pendulum thing is not that great. Uh, you could, I think, like other ascendancies have become stronger in comparison to elementalists now as a Chaos Wonder. So I think very tempting options are Deadeye. Deadeye is really good with 8 points. I think really one of the strongest ascendancies because it just works so well with 8 points. You could get like the increased AoE from the Deadeye tree. You could get poison on hit, which is really good with Chaos Wonder. So I think Deadeye is a really good option. Um, yeah, and Pathfinder. Pathfinder's had some really nice buffs, and again, Pathfinder is an ascendancy that really benefits a lot from getting 8 points. So it's just like every node in Pathfinder is really good. You know, like almost doesn't matter what you pick. Like you pick 8 random nodes in Pathfinder, and like your build will be pretty good because everybody uses flasks. So Pathfinder also has like a poison on hit node, which is really nice. While you have flasks up. So yeah, I would actually be leaning towards Pathfinder now. At least I would like to experiment with Pathfinder and see if I feel like it's better than Elementalist for the Chaos Wonder.
Yeah, I think some of the changes they did are crazy. Pathfinder, like, bringing up so many flasks with the immune to status ailment things.
Mm. Yeah, like
Um,
permanent status of ailment effect. You know, it's just yeah, it's nuts.
yeah,
Basically, you're immune to everything. Like because you'll be immune to bleed and all that. Like you're basically immune to everything all the time
you know,
as a Pathfinder. It's pretty
it
nice.
frees up, like, so much space for unique flasks as well. You might even be able to,
Yeah,
like, I always find, like, it's hard to squeeze in a Vessel of Inctor on life-based builds, but now it's going to be so much easier.
yeah, no problem actually.
Yeah. The next question is by Premature Go. What is the most OP defense that is life-based? Sorry, what's the most O life-based ascendancy? Most
The
OP
most
defense life-based ascendancy.
um two options really you have. First one is you all know what I'm going to say next, right? Champion. Uh, permanent
Really?
fortify. I'd say it's one
No,
of the
I'm
best.
joking. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I didn't actually catch that sarcasm. I'm bad. I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, champion. I mean, come on, right? Permanent fortify. You know, on permanent fortify is insane. Even with the nerfs to champion, it's still incredible for defense and probably your best bet as a life-based build. The exception to this rule with the new ascendancy changes is if you happen to be playing an actual melee build, be it Earthquake or Reeve. I hear the other melee skills in the game. I've just never seen them. Um, so we're talking about the two melee skills in the game, Reeve and Earthquake. If you're playing those two skills, then you could go Juggernaut, because Juggernaut, one of Juggernaut's nodes has been altered to give 25% increased effect of Fortify, which
Hmm.
means if you're actually getting Fortify via melee, Juggernaut is the tankiest option for you.
Yeah,
If you're not getting Fortify from melee, basically every other build that is an Earthquake or Reeve, then Champion is best for tankiness.
pretty much agree with that. Yeah, but then there's blue. There's blue life. Thankfully, I'm addicted to blue lately.
Blue Life is,
It's
I don't
so
know, man.
OP.
Just like once you get to red maps and like there's like volatiles that can hit you for 10k or whatever or 9k,
Mm.
suddenly you're like, I like the idea of Blue Life.
Yep.
Blue Life sounds like actual life, and
Yeah.
Red Life sounds like I'm gonna
Standard.
get one shot by something. Yeah, it sounds like standard to me.
Yeah, no, like the first time we played blue, I was like, oh my god, I don't have a health potion, but okay, I'm logging out. And we were like, okay, back in the map. Oh my, log out. Oh my god, this is scary. I'll log out. And then, like, you die, and then you play your second blue, third, and then after third, now it's okay. I can make, like, when I was, like, looking at builds earlier today, leveling is life, and I was like, how can I make blue later?
Yeah,
Blue is life.
I agree. It's look, it's actually a problem that PoE has had since its inception. I mean, okay, when I first started playing PoE in closed beta, CI gave you 50% more energy shield. Just reflect on that for a moment. It was quite easy to get over 20k, like easy. Then they were like, we're gonna nerf CI, so they nerfed it down to 20% more energy shield, and people were like, oh my god, CI is dead. What a shit ability. And then people were like, oh wait, this is actually still OP. And then they nerfed it down to 0, and then it was actually maybe a bit underpowered. And then they rebuffed it up to like what? Like how much is it these days? Like 12%, 16? I can't even remember.
More than that. I can't remember exactly. This though.
Yeah,
It's those nodes you have to take if you go CI.
yeah, the ones you have to take. But yeah, it used to be like the most OP shit imaginable. I'm actually checking now because it's a PoE nerd moment. 15% more energy shield. Okay.
Okay. Fix my mic. Can you hear me?
I can. Yeah, you fine. No problem.
Cool. Okay, I mean, yeah, I don't see that many people complaining, so they just need to refresh. Next question is by Idiot Slayer. Favorite way to level PoE characters based on class?
Uh, I think if you have the right twinking gear, you can kind of level any classes almost anything. I guess I kind of like leveling Spark Orb Storms. It's just fast and easy initially. Um, but my favorite, like the funnest way, is leveling Facebreaker Infernal Blow. It's hilariously strong for leveling because your damage, because of the way Facebreakers works, your damage is way too high
Mm-hmm.
until like mid Merciless. You literally just one shot everything that isn't like an act boss. With like a 6-link tabula, Facebreakers, and a ton of like decently rolled flat physical gear, Imaginords, etc. It's a great way to level. Fantastic way.
Cool. So, not the popular Firestorm leveling meta then.
I don't I know Firestorm leveling is really great. I've never really gotten into it myself. I should probably try it out a bit more. I've done like the multi trap
Yeah.
Firestorm leveling thing. I know it's like the way to do things. I don't really like it that much. I don't know why. I don't like traps. I know traps are strong, but the
Mm-hmm.
playstyle kind of annoys me.
Yeah, I found the last time I leveled with Blade Vortex's leveling, and it was a little bit slower, but it was actually really enjoyable, and I felt very safe while leveling.
Oh yeah, I leveled this Blade Vortex. It's really fun. It's really, really, really fun.
Especially for bosses, except Shavro.
Yeah, you just shit on bosses like completely. And I think Bladefall is a really good skill to level with as well, actually.
Yeah. I still like, I mean, I used to level as Blade Full, but I still feel Blade Vortex just a little fun being a Beyblade.
Mm. I really
Um,
want to do a Blade Vortex build. I just feel like in hardcore, it's like you got to play really well, or if you make like a mistake, you're gonna die.
yeah, I
Uh,
did that. Um, let's see. I think like three people have asked this question, basically the same one. Um, it's by Wild Wargasm, Inicast, and Langy94. And it's basically all summed up to what build you recommend starting with Prophecy League when you want to
oh,
aim for red maps
oh damn! The
and or for
question,
a beginner.
the question that everybody is asking: what build do you think we should do for Prophecy? To crush. I have some good suggestions. I'll probably be making a video about this at some point. Maybe when we get a bit more information,
Mhm.
just so I can be more specific. But at the moment, from what I've seen, you want to be playing either Slayer or Elementalist, 100%. Why? Because Elementalist has 50% reduced reflect for elemental damage, and Slayer has 50% reduced reflect for physical damage. You can combine this with a Sibyl's Lament for up to 88% reflect reduction, which is pretty crazy. You basically don't need to give a shit about reflect at all. The fact that you just have that as an option, I feel makes you better than the vast majority of ascendancy classes and allows you to push harder, faster, and roll maps better. Um, Inquisitor totems deserves an honorable mention as well. Like I think dual totem Spark Inquisitor with IJ Inevitable Judgment, meaning you ignore resists, is going to be an incredibly powerful build. You're going to crush lots of things. It's going to be great. But I think just in terms of flexibility and the ability to respec and just do whatever you want, Elementalist is probably got to be the king of all ascendancy classes. They've just buffed the best part of Elementalist. Think about it like this, okay? I would say that Elementalist was the second best ascendancy right now, right?
Nope.
The best ascendancy for hardcore is Champion. Second best ascendancy is Elementalist. If you're playing softcore, the best ascendancy is already Elementalist. Now, if you now what they've done is they've taken the best thing about Elementalist, which is Beacon of Ruin, and they've buffed its radius.
Mhm.
And then they were like, just on the off chance that you fuck up and die to reflect, we're also going to give you 50% reduced damage to reflect. So now you can just win PoE. So just make an Elementalist, and like, you know what's great about Elementalist? All your damage chills, shocks, and ignites. So it doesn't even really matter what you do. Bladefall, Firestorm, Blade Vortex, whatever the fuck you want. Who cares? Like, you're just going to chill, shock, ignite everything and kill everything. Like, whatever. Just do whatever you want with it. You'll be fine. It's like the easiest like ascendancy to build. Take a skill, take Elemental Conflux and Beacon of Ruin, and win at the game. I guess you might as well go elemental so you have 50% reduce reflect, like this time. So don't go a physical spell. Go some elemental skill because now you can.
And how do you feel about the fuck? I don't even know what the name is, but the thing that now gives you +1 extra golem.
Leech of the Primordial. Yeah, that's good. That'll be your last 2 points. So your first 4 points will be Elemental Conflux and Beacon of Ruin,
Mhm.
right? To get the OP prologue.
Yeah.
The next 2 points will be the Reflect reduction, which also gives you reduction against elemental damage in general. And then your final 2 points will be Leech of the Primordial. You'll get 2 golems with like double benefits. You could go like Lightning Golem and Flame Golem for like huge damage boost, huge attack and cast speed boost, which of course will work really well with Whirling Blades. So, cliff notes for you who might not have been following this: go Elementalist, go Whirling Blades, pick some skill, win PoE.
I like your
Sounds
cliff
good.
notes. See, I'm really annoyed that they added +1 golem to it because before I hate golems. In my opinion, they're probably the worst thing in the game because I always forget to have them up and they always die. And there's not enough hotbar skills, so most of the time I actually have to swap out a gem because I always use portal gem. I love portal gem. So usually I don't have an actual slot for my. And now I need two. I need two slots now for my fucking golem. It's
Yep.
awful. But before I could take that like the other skill, which isn't particularly great. It gives you like 100% increased elemental damage or some shit every now and again. But yeah, sure, that's useless. But the tracer or the start or the connector nodes there has 4% attack and cast speed. So if you're already using lightning golem and that, you barely lose any cast speed, and at least you get something while your golem is dead. But now I basically feel forced to take that shitty golem node, even though I hate golems.
Yeah, I
Really
mean the
frustrates me.
Pendulum of Destruction got buffed as well, so that
Yeah.
every you get like an increased AOE. But yeah, I completely agree. I think every Elementalist will probably take Legion of the Primordial.
Hmm.
I actually think every single Elementalist's build will basically be the same. Despite the added points, it's not going to add any further versatility. Every Elementalist will do what I said, which is go
Every
up
single
to
one.
just go up to Beacon of Ruin, take the Reflect reduction, Legion of the Primordial, done.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they buffed Elementalist at all. I'd say it's even slightly better than Champion right now, even for hardcore. It's super
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah, I agree.
Um, Next question is by Raw Funward. What build causes you pain to play and why?
Trap build.
Me
Trapping
too.
builds are really, yeah. Trapping builds are really strong. There's like nothing wrong with the trapping build. Like they're really strong. They kick ass. They need shitty gear to do it. Like they're just fantastic build to play in the beginning of the league, as an example. I hate traps. They drive
Mm.
me crazy. I hate the mechanics. I hate throwing traps. They just piss me off. Like I throw traps, I just get annoyed at like life in general. Just hate the mechanics. I don't know why. Just something that bothers me about that.
Yeah, no, I don't like traps at all either. I think it's the cooldown for me. If there was like no trap cooldown, you could just keep throwing them. I might like them because they're basically just aggressive totems, I guess. But nah, cooldown kills me.
It's weird because I really enjoyed playing a trapper assassin in Diablo 2,
All
but
right.
that's because the
Yeah, me
traps
too.
kind of function differently
Well, they're
because
more
they're
like
almost more like
totems.
totems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, completely
we
agree.
we we're on the same level here.
Yeah, no,
Totems are cool, traps are
that's my
bad.
second highest level in Diablo 2 was a trap sim. It was like 96. My
Mm.
highest was a 98 sword, which died, which I cried for quite a lot. And shout out to Mathil for hosting the AMA. Thank you so much, dude. Um,
Thanks, man.
if you haven't been following us, you can ask any questions to AngryAA by writing at PC Challenge Chat, and you can ask him about anything. So quite a few questions have been asked already. Uh, Next question. Now that we've determined we both hate traps, not in Diablo 2 though, is by Franda. Angry, have you had any instances of luck greater or equal to the streamer RNG video you have on YouTube with your Cloak of Defiance?
Okay, so I don't know. It is a very highly watched video. It's my highest watched video on YouTube, and that's because like the statistical odds of what happened in that video is so mind-bendingly low. I could probably play PoE for literally 100 years and not get that lucky ever again. Like literally. Um, Basically, what happened was I, I six-socketed 5 Link to Cloak of Defiance and like 3 Fusings and 3 Jewelers, and then I six-linked and I six-socketed and 6 linked another Cloak of Defiance directly afterwards in about like 5 fusings and Duelers. So I don't know. It seemed ridiculous to me. Like statistically, really low chance of happening. I've had some lucky moments. I've found some six links. You know, it's the only item I've actually ever six linked. But I don't think I'll ever get that lucky again. And if I do, I'll be very lucky to get that lucky again. That was some of the most insane RNG I've ever seen or experienced.
I think my favorite part about that was your eyes. You were
Yeah,
like, you went like, eyeballs were about to like leave your skull there. You
I
were
literally
like,
couldn't believe
the
it.
fuck.
I couldn't believe it. I've never been like so lucky in my life.
Yeah, no,
Never
it's
been so
a
lucky.
very, very enjoyable video to watch, and it's in a couple of the highlight videos as well,
Yeah, as it should be.
as
Like,
it should be.
I think about it like this, right? It's the kind of crazy lucky thing that you normally see happen to other people, right? Except that this time it was me. Like it actually happened to me. Like I've never had something like that before.
It's
You
because you're a
know?
streamer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
um,
it just blew my mind.
the next question is by Idiot Slayer. Favorite games that you don't play anymore?
Favorite games I don't play anymore. Diablo 2.
Dungeon
I mean,
Keeper?
I lie. I guess I play Diablo 2 a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just every now and then I come back to it, right? I'm just gonna link that video. Oh, I think somebody already did. Yeah, oh, somebody already did. I'm just linking that RNG video because some people asked for it. Other favorite games I don't play anymore. Well, you actually talked about one, Dungeon Keeper 2.
Yeah.
Dungeon Keeper, amazing game. Gene Wars. It was a game made by the same company where you could basically find animals and like study their genetic code and make hybrids
What was this
that could
called?
fight for you. Called Gene Wars.
That
It
sounds
was really
cool.
cool. There were basically 5 base races. There were like mules, crabs, dinosaurs, birds, and lizards,
Hmm.
frogs. And you could like get them to mate, and there would be two mixtures of hybrids. Like you could get a birdosaur or a dinobird.
Oh,
So like birdosaurs would be like more bird-like than dinosaur. They would be like flying like dinosaurs, and uh, dinosaurs would be like a dinosaur with like vestigial wings, and like so you could combine all the races like this, and basically it amounted to like different types of units in an RTS, and you had these specialist people that could control with them. Gene Wars was really fun. It was like a game made in the 90s. It was really really
yeah, I was
fun.
gonna ask, how old was this? That sounds really cool.
It was really old. I mean, honestly, if you played it now, it probably look like shit, and everyone you probably hate it. But back then, it was an amazing game. There are a lot of old school games I really love. I love Dune 2. Dune,
Oh,
the
Dune's
building
so
of a
good.
dynasty. That was great, really cool. Like
Wormstein.
first real RTS. I love the books, so the game was
Hmm.
a natural extension of
The
that.
movie.
Um, I watched the movie. Yeah, the movies or the miniseries were pretty shit, honestly.
Yeah.
Didn't like them very much. And I really enjoyed Syndicate. I don't know if you ever played Syndicate. Well, Syndicate Wars.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, where you controlled like cyborg warriors, that you could customize.
No,
Really
no, you
amazing
you
game.
mean the one where you get the mind control thing and then mind control the
Yep,
entire map? Yeah, that's
yep.
all I did.
And that was the best part, right? The Persuadertron. You could just wander
Yeah,
around and suddenly you had like the entire police force fighting for you.
I did
It was
nothing
so
else.
good. Yeah, so much fun playing that game. And cars one shot everybody. So you would like get into a
Yeah.
car and just like ride over the enemy team and one shot them. You're like, it's pretty good. Better than a bazooka. Really, yeah. So I mean, and of course, like I've pretty much followed ARPGs since they existed. Diablo
Mhm.
1, amazing game. Like I still remember Diablo 1 so vividly. Like basically what happened was my friend and I got Diablo 1. We we got it on PlayStation 1, and you could play co-op, on the same screen
Hmm.
on PlayStation. We weren't allowed to LAN because
Yeah.
our parents wouldn't allow us as kids.
Oh.
But we could play together on PlayStation. So I'm not kidding when I say like we woke up at 5 in the morning. We played Diablo 1 together until like 3 in the morning the next day without stopping. We were
Nice.
just hopelessly addicted. Hopelessly addicted. We loved that game. We also got into a lot of fights over who got to get what items. We
Oh,
fought about
really?
loot all the time. Because we both played like a warrior the first time, which was really dumb when you think about it, right? We're just fighting over the same items. But basically, we love like Diablo 1 just opened our eyes to the possibilities, right? Like, we're both heavily into Dungeons and Dragons,
Uh-huh.
D&D, like any kind of pen and paper games. I've been DMing for over 14 years. So Diablo was Diablo was different from other action RPGs. It was very slow, very gritty, very atmospheric, and kind of scary in a way. Like the first time you run into the butcher, you're like, oh, holy shit,
Yeah.
right? This is terrifying. So like I still, that's why I say like I remember Diablo 1 vividly because it was like, it wasn't just like a loot grind fest like RPGs have kind of become. And like I'm okay with like the loot grind fest. It's great. I love it. But there was something kind of special about Diablo 1 that I feel no other game has really quite captured. A sense of mystery, I guess, and
Hmm.
suspense.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I remember each time I fought at least mostly just King of the Orc and the Butcher. I would actually like I was like 7 or something when I played it, and I would
Yeah.
literally shake. Like I would get like such a
Yeah.
panic attack because I played on hardcore.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's it was quite terrifying,
It
honestly.
was
It's
really scary. Literally, I remember I was shaking. No other game really made me shake, 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 shake. Um, but yeah. Next question is by NWD and Squirrel and Lamb. We have a couple of people who's very interested in this. What is the best way to get rich in a new league if you don't care about the ladder and only about profit? Is it speed mapping with some OP build, no need to do maps, or run a shop instead and resell?
hmm. Oh look, I mean, the real answer to this question, it's the answer no one wants to hear, is if you really want to get rich in PoE, you just need to learn to flip very well, right? So like make a character, go make like 10 chaos worth of currency, and then flip your way to wealth. Doing that is really difficult because you need to understand the market very well. You need to understand how the prices start in a new league and how they change. You need to understand the implications of stuff. So if you want to flip well, you actually need to understand the economy very well. But if you do this, you'll do amazing things and you'll make lots of money. Now, most people don't want to do that. Most people want to play the game and not sit AFK in town trading all the time. So let's ignore that as the best answer because that's not really that fun for most people. I think a really good way of making money is basically doing what someone like you do is just push ladder, like get to maps very early and get to high tier maps. Like be one of the first people to get to high tier maps
Mhm.
and sell high base item level gear. That's so there are a couple of ways to make money, like lots of money, and they all rely on starting the league early and doing something in particular very well. The first is pushing high tier maps. Get to the highest tier maps as quickly as possible and sell high item level good bases. Make shit tons of money that way. And not only that, by mapping fast and efficiently, you'll find lots of good items and make lots of cash. Option number two, you're one of the first people to Adziri and or Uber Adziri, and you corner the market there before other people really hit it. Like you beat other people to Adziri by a couple of hours or even a day and make a shit ton of cash doing that.
Mhm.
That's also very viable, very profitable. The final way is maybe doing multi-client MF culling or multi-client lab running. Both of those can be insanely profitable. Insanely profitable. In fact, I think Vok made his fortune by using a dedicated group to farming the lab for enchants. So,
Mhm.
like, what you could do is you could make like a really, really awesomely built lab running character that can easily kill a Zara on 6 player live. Then you pull in 5 ults, right, into the lab. You speed run the Merciless lab, you kill Azara, and then you run your 5 ults through the lab as well. Obviously, you've made builds for them. This takes a bit of time to set up, right? But you obviously they have builds that are very good at running through traps. And then you can enchant 6 items instead of 1 item, which means like you have way more efficiency than you might normally have. You can also optionally do this in a group with friends, but obviously with ults it means you get to keep all the money for yourself. Now, if you're getting 6 enchants a lab run, you do this like all day for like a week. You'll sell so many like good helms with like earthquake reduce reduction, spark additional projectile. You'll sell so many meta skills. You'll have more money than you know what to do with. So that's a really good way of making cash.
Another option as
I,
well. I wanted to like update on something you said. You said pushing high maps early, but another big thing that a lot of people take for granted is that, or about that, is you can sell lower maps, like tier sevens, eights,
oh
sell
yeah,
like popcorn on day one and
yeah.
two for like 10C.
I was doing that in flashback, man. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was selling my
Yeah.
like tier 6s to tier 8s. Like I made almost 200 chisels in like 8 hours of selling tier 6s to 8 maps.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. Yeah, and you're right. They sell like popcorn. People would come in and be like, "I will buy all your tier 8s. Don't care what the base is. Like I just need tier 8s." I'm like, okay, sell them 15 tier 8s for like 3 chisels each. Easy money.
Yeah. It's
And you
crazy.
could, yeah, and that was flashback where people were not wanting to spend mapping currency on stuff. On a normal league, you'd make even more. So I think there's a lot of advantages to pushing ladder because then not only are you pushing ladder, which is kind of cool, but you're also making lots of money. But I do think systematic lab running might be one of the best ways to make cash in the game. It's just that you're not going to be on the ladder. If that's something you don't care about, then it's good. I think because of the Uber Lab is coming, I think the Uber Lab is now the
Yeah.
new way to make crazy money. You could even get alts to help you do the Uber Lab and get multiple enchants. The alt grinding up ults to Merciless requires a lot of effort, and making sure that they're capable of running through the traps on Uber Lab is another thing. But if you get that setup going, you'll make lots of money. You could just solo run the lab, the Uber Lab, or call in your guildmates to help you get enchants. And again, you'd make tons of money, I think.
Selling the trials as well, or selling, or actually, don't think you need to sell the trials. I think you get an item and then open up the lab.
Yeah, I
But
think you just buy the maps, right?
yeah, yeah. But selling lab runs, I think will be probably 1x per run,
Yeah,
depending on how hard it will be.
yeah. It depends how hard Uber Azar is. Uber Azar is relative to traps. If the traps are harder than Azar, then you can't sell for very much because
I
people need to
doubt
run
it.
through the traps anyway. But I agree. I doubt it as well. I think
I think
Azar
they'll
will be.
keep it the same.
Yeah, and then in that case, then yeah, selling lab runs will be super profitable. Also, a good way of making money early in the league, especially if you're not pushing ladder, is if you can get to Merciless early and hardcore, and then you sell Malachi, Cruel Malachi runs.
Hmm.
For example, I got to Cruel, sorry, I got to Merciless, and I sold like just early on, I sold 4 Malachi kills, and each person paid me 10 chaos.
Oh wow.
Like the thing is that people are terrified of doing Malachi in
Hmm.
cruel difficulty in hardcore. They're like, I will pay any amount of money because I'm scared of dying. Some people get too many FPS drops, so they just
Yeah.
can't even do him. So people are willing to pay anything to not have to do him. They're like, you know what, I can grind that money back
Yep.
in Merciless. Uh, Malachi falls down and the whole game opens up to me, the
Yep.
whole end. So they will pay anything to do him, and you can make like if you one of the only people you know offering Malachi service early in the league, you'll make so much money because a lot of people who are pushing ladder don't care about that. They want to get to maps, so they won't even be offering Malachi service. So like if you're just like a more casual player, you can only play on the weekend, so you're not going to be pushing ladder anyway. Just push to Merciless, kill Malachi, like make sure you're good at doing Malachi, and then sell Malachi, and you'll make like you could make like I don't know, like probably 3-4x in like a day, the first day
It's
of
actually
selling.
what Carve did even while pushing ladder, because he was like, he was basically under leveled, so he was still getting really good XP per run. So he was like level 56 or something and offering Cruel Malachi run. So he was getting good XP and he made like, he was probably the richest person for at least a day. Because he made
Yeah,
like 3, 4, 5x 10 hours into the league.
yeah, it's absurd. Honestly,
I'm
it's
sure
really,
there's
really,
more
really good
rich
money.
people, but you get the idea. It's pretty
Yeah,
pretty great.
that's a great way of building currency. And it's just like the lack of competition. If you get to Merciless early and there's no one really selling runs or not enough, yeah, it's crazy, especially in hardcore.
Yeah.
Like I think, I don't know about softcore. I think softcore, like if you die in Malachi, you don't really care. You just like respawn and carry on. So it's probably harder to sell boss skills. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not really aware on stuff like that either. The next question is by Gazi, the other summoner. What would your ideal summoner unique be if you got to create one yourself?
My, I think my ideal summoner unique. I have two ideas, so I have to say both of them because they're both awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first one would be kind of like I don't know what you would call it, like a spirit infusion or something, which is like you can only summon specters, you can't summon any other minions, no SRS, no zombies. That's a drawback of the item. Make it a chest armor maybe or a helm. So you can't summon any minions in the game except specters, but your maximum increased specter count increases by like 3 or 4 or something crazy. Like so you're just a specter summoner with no other minions, but you have like 6, 7, 8 specters. Be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty simple but really fun item. I think it'd just be a very different playstyle.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be a little bit OP, but like whatever. It wouldn't be as OP as Voltaxic Spark, so who cares? Um, and my other idea was a unique item that basically states any weapons that you equip are now equipped by your zombies. So
All
like
right.
you equip an auras, your zombies have auras. You link them with weapon elemental damage now. You can link them, yeah. You can do cool
Uh-huh.
shit like that. And your zombies and what would be even better is if the graphic on your zombies actually changed to them like holding the weapon, right? You can make them dual wield. It'd just be fun. I don't know if it would be overpowered. I don't think it actually would be because zombies are just have shitty AI and they're just kind of lame anyway. They would do incredible damage wielding weapons, but it would be really fun. I don't know. I think it would be a cool item.
I
And
like it.
you wouldn't gain benefit from your weapon,
Yeah.
right? So it's a bit like necromantic aegis for weapons.
Yeah.
So like it's a big drawback as a summoner, but your zombies would be crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think there, like, if there were a few more summoner things in the game, I would probably be tempted to try summoner myself.
Mm.
Because I did enjoy when I was playing the, what was it? Righteous Fire Zombies. Wow, Spectres. I actually have a question. It's related to Carve being in chat. Have you seen the video of Carve selling his Vessel of Inktar from his potion slot?
Yes.
Yes. It's one of my favorite videos to date. And on that note, my
That's
question
so
to you is, do you think there should be a buyback option in Path of Exile?
no,
No.
go back, go go back to D3 casual. Kidding.
I love that.
I've never accidentally vended an item in PoE in my history, so I don't know. It's never affected me. I think because of the way PoE works and that you get like shards for vendoring, I don't think a buyback system would be very viable. I guess they could just make it like one alchemy or something to buy your items back. I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt. I don't think it's really a big deal. Learn to not vendor your items, Carve, and others.
So AngryAA's reply to this is basically just get good.
Yeah, just get good, scrub. Get good at vendoring items.
It was so good. I actually I almost cried. I was eating or drinking at the time, and I almost like choked because someone was like, "Watch this video," and I like see Car's reaction, like, "Did I?" Oh my god.
Yeah, he's like, "Where's
So
my
good.
Vintar?" And
Yeah.
but the realization dawning on him is the best part, right?
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so
The
freaking
worst
good.
thing is he did it before in a race. I don't know if you've
What?
seen that. It was in the last race season. He like vendors his +1/+1, and then he runs away from the vendor, and he runs towards the waypoint, and then he just like slaps his own face like really hard, and you hear like this like nice smack, and you're like, oh my god, it's so good. So this is not a first time thing. Literally,
Nice. I think he has a problem. I think
I think so too. He needs to vendor things.
uh,
Game is too easy. The next question is by Kazuzi. Would you exchange clear speed for a harder experience, or would you not be satisfied with less clear speed after the past few leagues?
I miss the days where PoE was a bit slower, honestly. I feel like PoE is becoming closer to D3. In terms of like one of my problems with D3 is that like you do a rift or something and the monsters don't matter. Like you just run through the map and you just destroy everything and like I don't even know what the monsters do. Like they shoot random weird colors and I don't take any damage, like most of the time. So it feels like a very kind of flat experience. I feel like PoE is moving closer to that where it's just like this clear speed meta where you just kill everything so quickly. The monsters don't even matter. Like what they do doesn't matter. The damage they deal doesn't matter. Um, I don't like that. I think some people do like that, so I think that should stay in the game. I just think that I think it's time for GGG to introduce custom leagues so
Yeah.
that people can choose the way they want to play the game. Like you can make a custom league where players do 50% less damage, like global multiplying, right? Or monsters have like triple the health, and things just slow down a bit. And now monsters live long enough to hit you back, so that like things are actually dangerous and you need to care about defenses again. But the people that want the hyper crazy clear speed meta and just like cruise through the game and like run their gorge rotations all day, they can still do that. They can play the way they want to. And like I don't want to take that away from people. Lots of people like to play that way, but I want to be able to play in the sort of somewhat slower, grittier style, almost D1 style, where I'm like, clutching my weapon, like walking through the area, going, "Shit, I'm scared," right? Because like I enjoy that. I'm a bit of a masochist that way. So yeah, that's what I would have to say. Can't we just have custom leagues so that everyone can play the way they want to?
But how do you feel, or are you worried it would split the community and make the leagues? Because when a league does get dead, quote unquote, it does get less enjoyable to play the game.
I don't know. I think that's the vocal minority. Like, I think what GGG have said is that like most people don't even trade. Like
It
most
went
people
up a
like
lot though.
it did go up a lot with public stash tabs. I get people in my chat every day going, "You can trade with public stash tabs." Like, oh, I've had them for like
Yeah,
2 years. I didn't even know that. Like
that is a very
most people,
recent thing though.
yeah. Um, I look. There definitely will be some downsides to smaller communities. I don't. I don't doubt that. I think it's worth it for like I think Path of Exile is rapidly approaching a kind of divergence point where um, it's risking losing the super hardcore, right? People like Havoc, people like you. Um, Even though I'm not like a ladder pusher, I play in a way I would like to think is, I like challenge, I like difficult stuff.
Hmm.
Um, I like I like I loved Invasion. Okay. um, and I think if they do lose the hyper hardcore, I think it would be bad for the game because even though most people don't play that way, it's a really fun spectator thing, and I think it's
Yeah.
something that people aspire to. Like people want to be like Havoc, or people want to be like this, and like even people like Havoc have said that one of the downsides of pushing to 100 now is that like it's more about the time you put in instead of how well you play. Like
Yeah.
because the game's a lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think custom leagues could be a lot of fun as well. If I could like make a dream custom league, it would be I don't know what it's called, like elimination from the bottom. Like you're only allowed to make one character, starts at a certain time, and then it starts killing characters every minute.
Mm,
You just randomly die. So if you're the lowest five or lowest person on XP, you're dead. You're dead.
yeah,
You're dead.
I I actually came up with this idea a long time before you started playing PoE. I
Okay,
came up with this
okay.
idea. Pulling rank, get in your place here. No, but like it is a cool idea, right? Like that elimination. I think GG said they wanted to do it and then they never did. It was one of
Ah,
their ideas that they discarded, and it's fine because they have a lot in their play. But it would be great, right? Like I think you could call it a Highlander race. In the end, they can be only one.
yeah.
You could even play the song like during the race. It'd be great. But yeah, like you just like you are too low level, you are eliminated. Bang, your character falls down dead, and then suddenly like it becomes a race between the last five people. And so it's not just about how much experience you gain and like the duration of the race. It's making sure you're ahead of the curve
Yeah.
every hour or every half an hour, whenever the timer ticks. The Doom race. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'd be cool.
I don't think it would work as like a multi-day race.
Yeah, yeah,
Like as a 5 hour, 6 hour race, I think it'd be super fun. I
it'd
would
be really
love to be like push like being down to like the last eight and doing like slash ladder and be like, no, he's gaining on me. Fuck. What do I do?
Yeah, if PoE was a better PvP game, the other thing you could do is that every half an hour you teleport into arena and you fight somebody else to the death until there's nobody left.
Yeah, that could be cool too.
So it's like a cool mix of PvE and PvP where you PvEing, you're getting your gear, and then every half an hour you go into arena, you fight, kill the guy, carry on until there's only one person left. Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah. I actually never got to try Cutthroat, so I'm kind of sad about that.
It's really fun. I mean,
Yeah.
not very balanced, but really fun. The
Yeah.
first, it's like the first 2 hours is really fun, and then after that, it gets kind of boring because either some people are too strong, or people just quit because they just got destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of some different ways of doing it though.
Yeah, there are ways. I think the problem is that PoE has moved like way past cutthroat
Yeah,
now.
that's true.
Like, I almost don't think it'll ever happen again.
Let's see. The next question is by our friend Pui. How would you convince us to visit South Africa besides the super OP speed on the internet?
Look, I mean, there are problems with South Africa. It's a reasonably dangerous country, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Um, but it's got the best weather in the world. I say this as having gone to many different countries. The weather is temperate. It's great. It's warm, but never too hot. Generally speaking, not too hot. Winters are mild. Fantastic weather. Beautiful, natural areas. Insanely attractive women. So there's lots of good things about South Africa. Especially if you want to go for a more like scenic holiday where you want to see beautiful things and go to beautiful beaches. South
Mhm.
Africa's beaches are pristine, pristine, and stunning, and generally speaking, not overzerged. Like great place to go to the beach, great place to go on safari, great place to go like yachting or kayaking or snorkeling or diving. It's got like top ten diving locations in the world in South Africa. You can
Yeah.
see real great white sharks, cool shit like that. Don't go there to play video games. Don't go there to use the internet. Um, you might, there's a statistically higher chance you'll get murdered. Just, it's just a reality. It's a third world country, right? But don't go walking down dark alleys and actually listen to the advice of locals.
Hmm.
Like when they say don't walk down that street when you're alone, they they mean it.
Oh
So
wow, that's I would die there
um,
then.
yeah, but I mean, like again, if you listen to the advice, you generally speaking, you'll be fine unless you're very unlucky.
I'm
And
okay. So car would be gone.
like I've never been the victim of crime in South Africa,
All right.
but I'm a local. Like I know not to walk alone at night, generally speaking, and stuff like that.
Well, I mean,
You
I do
get it.
have a very punchable face.
Yeah, yeah.
Not even denying it. Ah, I like
We'll
it.
punch you in the face and take your money. Sounds good.
Jesus, I'm scared now. Maybe you are angry, AA. Maybe this like happy smile is just a facade. I'm worried now.
Come from South Africa, have a bit of criminal in me, I guess. No, but I mean, I think South Africa's great. I think it's honestly a great tourist destination, especially when you go to like the bigger cities and stuff. But like, yeah, it is. On another level, if you're very naive, I wouldn't recommend going to South Africa.
Not for
Like
me
if you're
then.
used to like being in like a really, really, really safe country.
I've been there actually. I've been to South Africa,
Oh, have you?
Johannesburg.
That's awesome.
Next question is by Viral Law CK. Would you like to see GGD make a cow level? Cow type level?
You mean you haven't gone to the secret fishing level?
We're not supposed to talk about it on stream.
Oh, sorry.
Right, hold on, I need to end the. um, is that a no? Do you not want one?
Uh,
Because they don't
I don't
exist.
know.
They don't exist.
I don't know. I think a secret level that has to do with fishing would be amazing. If one were to exist, it would be amazing. Because of course one doesn't exist right now.
You've ruined this entire AMA. Now they know. Now they're gonna find out. Next question. Ralph Onward. Have you ever played a build, stopped halfway, made another, and came back to the first? Or do you just stick with one character until it's done?
I like to stick with one character until it's done. I like theory crafting. I like either taking an existing build and optimizing or coming up with my own build idea. Um, I think what I usually do is I try very hard to make it work. Once I make it work, I try take that and make it as liquidly smooth, buttery as possible. Right. Um, if I feel like the build is like underperforming, I might just drop it or change it. And when I love being pleasantly surprised by builds. When I make a build, I'm like, I don't know how good this is going to be, and I play it. I'm like, actually, this is pretty good. This is kind of kicking ass. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things in PoE is having that moment of like, man, all my theory crafters come together. This is actually pretty awesome, and no one really has quite thought of doing a build quite in the same way I've done this. I really enjoyed that moment, that aha moment. You know.
The Eureka moment where you know your build is successful?
Yeah, and like especially if it's like not even just a successful build, but like a good build TM. Like this is actually a nice build. Uh, yeah, it feels good.
I agree, I like it. Next question is by Lucky Edie and B2Rad. Tea, coffee, energy drink, or soda? And what is your favorite drink of choice, alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Ziz, I know what your answer to this is. Um,
Hey, you trying to say?
you're famous for your Red Bulls, by the way.
Oh
I've
wow.
heard this from other people, but like everyone's like, Ziz drinks like 5 million Red Bulls a day. What are you up to now these days?
I had one today. I'm being good.
Wow. And how high are you going for prophecy? What notch are you gonna pull for prophecy?
I mean, I'm actually like trying not to do more than two a day anymore.
Okay.
I've
Uh,
taken advice from Havoc.
Damn.
Ooh.
He is the father of power gamers, right? At this
Yeah,
stage. He is the
basically.
brown man of our hearts. Uh, I love coffee. Coffee is my thing. I generally drink 2 cups of coffee a day. I used to drink a lot more. Like back when I played WoW, I would drink like, something ridiculous like 8 to 12 cups of coffee a day, and I'd have crazy gaming marathons. These days, I realize I shouldn't do that anymore, and it kind of screws me up. So yeah, I tend to be very strict, and I don't drink coffee after like a certain time of the day to not mess up my sleeping. But I love coffee. I love all kinds of coffee. I love really well-made coffee, well-brewed
Hmm.
coffee. Coffee is fantastic.
And do you have
Tea
a
is pretty
favorite
good.
alcoholic drink or?
I don't drink. I'm not like I'm not like this like elitist when it comes to alcohol. I just don't enjoy getting drunk. So yeah, I enjoy drinking vodka and coke. I enjoy chocolate liqueur like for taste, but getting like a bit tipsy, it's not for me. I just don't enjoy it. I don't know why.
Cool. It Doesn't sync up well with hardcore gaming either way.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like people talk about the fact that they can't play hardcore because they sometimes come home drunk and then rip their character. At least I don't have to deal with that.
That's true. I haven't done that either. Yeah. Oh, actually, Weasel PK'd me on my birthday while I was having a
Ooh.
drunk stream. We ended up fighting at Oak, and he killed me.
Ow. What?
Yep. It was four of us, and two of them helped. Two of us click kill. So obviously the
Wow.
people that helped won.
That's dick. That is
It was funny
super.
though. It was a really good way to end the stream.
Ah, fair enough.
So the next question is by Arc Regin. What is Angry AA's favorite divination card?
Um, I really like the chains that bind and the other one. Basically, the ones that give you. My favorite one is the one that is it the chains that bind. It's the
Mm-hmm.
one that gives you a random six link of a random base,
Yeah.
item level 100. Just because like you could
No,
get
that's
like
Dapper Prodigy.
oh Dapper Prodigy. Dapper Prodigy is my favorite. Honestly, I think most divination cards are kind of lame
Mm-hmm.
because you never can really get enough to turn in a full set if it's a good item, and if it's a bad item, you don't really care. Um, for some reason, for me anyway, I feel like because of the way trading works in PoE, cards are not that great. Even in solo self found, I tried to grind a tabula rasa with cards, and I failed miserably. It just takes too long. Like it takes ages to get the cards you need. So I feel like cards don't really work for solo self found. They don't really work in trading. I guess you can buy cards. Like it just feels a bit weird. But that being said, the Dapper Prodigy is really awesome. I did turn in a full set, and it's just like it's fun because you can get like a really awesome six link or a pretty crappy six link, but it's still a six link, so it's
Simple
nice.
robe.
Yeah, you can get. It's just funny. It's like it's just an exciting moment to turn that card set in.
Yeah, no, it's one of my favorite too. And Chains of Bind is really good too. It's just eye level 80, I think.
Yeah.
Next question is by Javi Panda Bear. What do you think about the huge buffs to the already best ascendancy classes in terms of player speed? Elementalist, Inquisitor. Do you feel like this is slowly suffering from the WoW effect, where games become more and more casual until hardcore players don't have a place in it anymore?
Um, I will say that like no matter what happens, I think that PoE will always have some level of hardcore gamer appeal, just because the mechanics are too complicated for that not to be the case.
Mhm.
Like the only way for that to go away is if GGG were like, we are removing the passive tree or significantly streamlining it so that you have hardly any choices.
Yeah.
And like we're removing the skill gem system because it's too complicated. Now you just have like preset skills. Unless they did something like that, which I imagine will never happen. There will always be a place for quote unquote hardcore gamers. That being said, I do feel like that space is significantly smaller than it used to be. Um, and I think the super hardcore players, like again, players like Havoc and stuff, are getting pushed out of the game. You can just when I talk to someone like ETAP, he's like, I'm not even that excited. He tells me he's not even that excited for Prophecy. Right?
Mhm.
That's the first league I've heard him talk about like that, which is a bit scary. I'm still heavily invested in the game, and I'm a bit of a masochist gamer, but I do worry, that there is a slippery slope that we're approaching,
Mhm.
that we might fall off one day. But at the moment, I do think PoE is in a pretty good place. It just needs to be like the power creep needs to be reined back a little bit. The new monsters will hopefully help that they're adding. I'm
Yeah.
excited about the new monsters, and I hope they'll add some like a level of tactics. Like the blast rain comes down from the rare, powerful crit, monster, and you actually need to like back the fuck up and dodge it and plan around it instead of just
Squashing it
instantly
down.
killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. That you have these moments of like, whoa, like I need to adapt. Uh, yeah, I mean like what else can we really say about that? Custom leagues, please.
Yeah. I want that as well. Next question is by 3850. Can you ask Angry AA what would be the best quality of life change for summoners that you would be placed to see?
Oh, I could go on a bit about this. The biggest quality of life change summoners need is specters. Specters are one of the coolest skills in the game. You can take any monster in the game and you can modify them with every single like support skill in the game. The possibilities are amazing, right? Like it's such a fun skill, and it's so horribly crippled by horrible quality of life. Firstly, your specters don't scale very well. You need to go to a particular map. You need to find the right specter of the right level and then raise it. This means that experimenting in high-end maps is very difficult because finding the right specter is at the mercy of map RNG. So first thing I would wish for quality of life is that specters scale with gem level, like zombies or something. Like your specters just scale with you to some degree with the level of gem to appropriate level content, right? Like a level 21 specter gem is appropriate for the very highest tier maps. A level like 19 gem is appropriate for yellow maps, and like a level 15 gem is appropriate for white maps. It's just like that. And that means you can raise any monster from any act, and it will just be level appropriate for the content you're actually doing. Sounds great to me. Secondly, the fact that specters die and you need to go and find specters again and resurrect them is really annoying. So what I think would be nice is that specters are immortal. They can't die per se. When they die, they get that Pirandus resurrection effect. And 30 seconds later, 1 minute later, they return.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can make the resurrection timer long enough that it's not OP. It's not going to like influence combat, right? Like you run into a difficult boss, all your specters die, you run away, you scratch your nose, and then your specters come back and you go at it again, like any other build in the game, right?
Or what about leaving them up?
No, I don't like the whole leaving the map thing. I think that's shit. Like that's the thing. Like the whole point is that you don't have to leave the map. Like one of the frustrating things about a specter summoner is playing in a party, and your specters die, and you can't really like leave to go get specters. Like you just gotta kind of stick with them and nothing. So the resurrection will fix that, where you could just carry on with your group, and even if like you just get to the end of the map, when you're at the end of the map, your specters pop back into existence. Another way of doing it would be a bit like Animate Guardian, where if you just click the specter on the ground without a corpse, it just resummons your dead specter. That's acceptable as well.
Yeah.
But I like the resurrection mechanic. I think it's kind of fun. So I think, yeah, specter scaling, specter resurrection, and then I guess either like a graveyard in your hideout where you can gain access to any corpse in the game to raise the specters, or your specters are safe through a logout.
Yeah,
I think the graveyard in your hideout, they both are acceptable to me.
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me would be like, especially for pushing the ladder, would be the logout thing, because you do log out quite a lot to like bears and stuff, especially in like party settings. So that'd be huge for me.
Yeah, it would just make the skill like if you did those changes and you balanced the skill around those changes. Like a lot of people are like, oh, like these changes would be OP. I don't care if you like nerf specter damage or like AI or whatever you want to do to make it balanced, but just it means that like someone can take the skill and use it and enjoy it, and particularly in a competitive setting or just in any setting.
Next question is about SRS by Jones T420. If I put SRS and Spell Totem, will it also benefit from totem nodes too, or not? Doesn't, right?
It doesn't benefit from totem nodes, and your SRS get reduced damage from the Spell Totem support gem.
Right?
Yeah. So basically, SRS Spell Totem is dead. It's dead to me. It's a crappy build because of they changed how fast SRS casts. It's really easy to hit the SRS cap self-cast. The only reason you used to go totems in the past was that totem SRS could hit cap easier than self-cast. But now that you can hit cap so easily with self-cast, especially with Mistress of Sacrifice Flash Offering, and now with like the new buffed Aura Node in Necromancer, it's going to be even easier. Like you're probably not even going to need Spell Echo pretty early on in your SRS build, like mid-tier maps, with all the changes that are coming. So I feel like there's no place for totem. You're just losing out on too much damage.
Yeah. Next question is by Nicovelli. Do you eat bacon?
I do. I love bacon. Bacon is great. Particularly bacon cheeseburger. Yes, please.
I would have been so upset if you didn't.
I eat anything. I love food.
Next question. You get so many summoner questions. This is great. Next question is by Hilavitikutin. That's a difficult name, bro. I tried. Animated Guardian is mainly used as an aura bot. Should it be able to use socketed skills, and what would you do with the Animated Guardian?
I imagine it might be difficult to code that, but if they could, it would be awesome. Like, I would love to see Animate Guardian use socketed skills. I mean, I don't know how feasible it is to currently, like, you can't really build an Animate Guardian to do any damage right now. But assuming you could make it use socketed skills, I'm guessing you could. I wouldn't be able to tell you, like, what would be the best setup or anything. Like, that would require testing, basically, to see what would practically work well. But I mean, you would imagine things like Earthquake would be really good.
Yeah, Earthquake on Gollum would be, or yeah, Guardian would be pretty cool. Yeah. Or any like CC skill would be super cool.
Yeah, and maybe if you could use Curse and Hit, like that could be a possibility. With the Guardian, that could be OP or good. Yeah, otherwise like things like Ice Shot could be interesting. for crowd controlling.
Yeah.
Though you probably want to make it melee only, be more balanced.
Yeah.
And mainly only, I'd be
No
leaning towards
spells?
something like Earth. Uh, making like the anime Guardian thematically seems to be a melee kind of guy. So I would say melee skills only, and then Reeve, Earthquake would be good. Or in terms of utility, maybe Ground Slam, Stunning, with
Hmm.
stunning items could be fun.
You're gonna like this next one. Next question is by IDK. You are my summoner inspiration. Any plans on playing anyone in Prophecy?
Um, yeah, I'm probably going to be playing a. The more I think about it, the more I'm probably going to be playing a basically the build I did in Perandus, like the one I created. That's actually pretty good. Like Whirling Blades with Victoria's Charity, Summoners, Zombies, and Spectres. One of the reasons I'm excited to do this build because I think Spectre Summoners are going to have more options coming with the new monsters.
Mhm.
So now you're going to have monsters with Earthquake, monsters with Blade Vortex, monsters with Spectral Throw. Like, this is cool because it's going to be a lot of testing, and some of these Spectres could be super OP, right? Like, they said that Rune Titans can do Earthquake. Now, if they spam Earthquake, like at a reasonable rate and have good DPS, Rune Titans, by the way, are unkillable as Spectres. Like, they never die. They're just invulnerable. So you'll have invulnerable Spectre spamming Earthquake for crying out loud. Like, you can link it to whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
You would totally destroy things. Blast Range Spectres could be really strong, especially single target. You could, yeah, like Blade Vortex Spectres could be interesting. And Spectral Throw with like GMP and like a lot of auras and stuff could be very strong. Like, you go like a low life aura bot with GMP Spectral Throw Spectres could be strong. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. Another interesting possibility, this is kind of fruity, right? Vortex, you know the Vortex and Frostbolt, the new skills
Yeah.
they're adding. And you can spawn Vortexes based on Frostbolts in the air.
Mhm.
Can you do that on Spectre Frostbolts? Because if you can, they said
Ah.
they're adding Frostbolts to Sea Witches. So what you could do is you could just use a couple of utility Frostbolt Sea Witches. They don't even do damage. You just use them like with slower projectiles and a bunch of like health passives or support skills. Support gems so that they don't
Yeah,
die,
that's
and
pretty
then you
cool.
use them to help channel your vortexes.
You just blew my
That could be
mind. Next question is by Lucky Edie. Who was your idol growing up?
fun. I didn't really have one. I guess my big brother. My big
Hmm.
brother is an awesome guy. He's like, he has the he's really intelligent, but he doesn't show it off to people. He's very reserved and doesn't think he's smart, and he just deals with everything, and he protected me like a big brother should in every way possible. He's like my best friend,
Hmm.
and we game together. Like we would egg each other on in games. So like if he beat me in a game, he'd be like, "You suck," and rub it in my face, and it would inspire me to work harder and beat him.
Yeah.
And him and I were like the reason we both became really good at real-time strategy games. So when Warcraft 3 came out and we decided to go competitive, we just trained against each other continually. And every time we lost, it just fueled our desire to get better.
Yeah.
And we made each other really good at Warcraft 3. And that's why we were one of the best players in the country at the time. And the same happened for StarCraft 2, where I got number one in South Africa in StarCraft for a while anyway, until real life got in the way. And I made quite a bit of money, surprisingly, playing StarCraft. And I would thank my brother for that. So I guess you could say he's my idol. I did play professional poker for 2 years in South
Oh.
Africa as my full-time job for a while. I enjoyed poker. It was very mathematical, very interesting, very analytical. I'm pretty good blah, 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 blah. I'm clearly not very good at talking. I'm pretty good at analysis, so I poker worked out well for me. I could like analyze what I did wrong, what I did well, and making money while sitting in your underwear at your computer was great. Um, and yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
Your brother?
Oh yeah, my brother my brother got into poker as well, and we like helped train each other, and that was really fun. Actually, the main reason I stopped playing poker was it became illegal to do online gambling in South Africa, so I couldn't do it anymore.
All right, I was about to say, surely playing poker in South Africa increases your chance of being killed.
Well, what was nice is that the money was actually really good because the
Mhm.
exchange rate in
Ah,
dollars was very
yeah.
favorable, and you were earning in dollars. So
Yeah.
like you needed to earn less money than other professional poker players to be successful in South Africa, which is quite an advantage.
Yeah, that's really good. Especially in Norway, it's pretty hard to make a living off stuff like that.
I mean, I heard Norway is like the most expensive country in the world or something
It's
ridiculous.
pretty up there, yeah. Like I remember when I first moved to Northern Ireland, I was like, holy shit, taxis are so cheap here. I'd like never been in a taxi in Norway. Next question is by Viron Law CK. How do you see the Bane of Legend effect? When hit, does it mean when enemy is hit or when you hit the enemy?
As far as I know, it's the exact same wording as Culling Strike, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So I think it's just going to work like normal culling. I could actually
Yeah,
take a
it
look.
should be.
But yeah, I think it's exact
It's
same
just a 20%
wording.
call.
Yeah, I think it's just a 20% call, which is really strong, by the way. And
Especially for Zaro.
yeah, especially for Azara, it's going to make Slayer the best at slaying. I guess that's kind of appropriate. Um, but yeah, I think you probably want to be Slayer if you're going to do some kind of like lab running build, speed lab running build. Yeah, Culling Strike. I can link it here. But if you take a look, it has the exact same wording, so it should work just like a normal Culling Strike, except it'll be super Culling Strike. So it'll be good for killing Azara. It'll be good on like high, like very fast hitting base skills, like Blade Vortex or Slayer. I think could be pretty good. I think it'll actually be very good
Yeah.
because like the boss will just get to 20% life and then just instantly die, which is quite nice. And funnily enough, Slayer will be the best for an MF killing based build where you just go like curses and support auras and you just kill enemies with lots of MF and yeah, make lots of money for your party, I guess.
The next question is by Stufus Maximus. Ziz, please ask him to show us his Gollum. It's amazing, trust me.
Show my golem.
A Gollum.
Oh,
Trutzel. False.
oh, okay. I guess Mathil ate a banana. I guess I'm gonna do my golem impression. Wait. I gotta get ready.
Alright.
I hope you guys are prepared. It's pretty good. Okay. Gives it to us. Yes. Yes. I want it. I need it. Please. No. The precious. I want it. No. Don't take it away from me, please. God. He takes it. He takes it away from us. We'll get him. We will. Okay.
That's really funny because I do Gollum impressions too. That's great. We should like join up for one day. Um, I'm impressed, dude. That's really good.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to hear yours sometime.
We'll have to do a reverse one then. The next question is by SSQ12345. Do you think current streamers will still have an audience in 30 to 40 years aged to 60? Like when we're 60, do you think we'll still have an audience?
Yeah.
You hope so? We're
You know what
hoping.
our audience will be? It'll be the people watching us currently right now.
Yeah. And no new ones. Feels
Sorry,
bad.
guys, you're gonna get old too, and you're gonna enjoy watching Twitch TV. So, like, I think it's clear that like right now Twitch exists in a weird new world where it's mainly young streamers, but these people will get old, and I think they'll still have a place in the biz, right? Maybe some of them will move sideways. Maybe it'll even get to the point like if Twitch gets big enough, which I probably think it will, where you become like a coach to a younger streamer.
Hmm.
So you're like, I've been streaming for like 30 years. Like I know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm no longer young and I can't attract the young market. But you become like an executive that runs a streaming like okay, like think if Twitch gets big enough that it becomes like pop music, right?
Yeah.
Then new streamers could become like boy bands where like a powerful organization or company takes young streamers and gives them all the tools they need to be super successful and basically, you become their like little mini slave. And experienced streamers would be a part of that. Like I'm just, I don't know. I'm not saying I would necessarily do that because that feels kind of messed up. And old streamers who actually stream will have their own niche, just because old people in real life have niches in
Mhm.
showbiz. Especially, I think men. I think because of the way the world works, women will have a more narrow window to be successful in Twitch, except for a few exceptions, because people are sexist assholes and they
Yeah.
care a lot about. The world cares a lot about women's looks, not just on Twitch, but in movie, TV, that kind of thing.
Everything, yeah.
Uh, so for women, once you're hitting like your late 30s, you're probably going to see like a sharp drop in viewership. But I think for men, you can still be very successful until very late if
Mhm.
you know what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Um, next, que- no, Next question is by Lucky Edie. What is your favorite MTX slash 3D model slash artwork?
My favorite MTX in Path of Exile, without a doubt, is the witch hat.
Hmm.
That it's like basically like a pointy Harry Potter hat. It looks amazing. It costs like 30 MTX points, which is a steal. It was an exclusive microtransaction that was only sold on Halloween. So it's amazing. I love it. Every time I wear it, people are like, "Wow, that MTX is amazing. Where can I get it?" And I'm like, "Sorry,
I get it. I didn't actually buy it.
get
Rip.
it."
And the next question is, have you seen the new Cosprey's Will? The breaks curse immunity test?
Oh yeah. So let's talk about Cosprey's work. I don't know if like an admin or something could link the item in chat,
Yeah, I can
but
link it.
it's definitely the talk of the town. I think Cosprey's Will is the best item in the game.
Question was by Mikey688, by the way.
Uh, I think it's the best item in the game.
Hmm, that's a bold statement. I
Yeah, I know.
disagree.
I think it's better than Skyforce. Like I think it's gonna sell for absurd amounts of money. Think about it like this: like if your support has that item, it's a really big deal. I feel. It means you can run more map mods. It means that curses are even less situational. Like you run into like random curse immune powerful crits Rakango, and you can still curse them. So enfeebled and pearl chains become super reliable for defense. Your offensive curses become super reliable for offense. You know, if you happen to want to do it, you also get global poison. Poison, last time I heard, was pretty good. Uh, it's like getting a global seventh link on top of bypassing curse immunity, on top of getting +1 curse. Yes, you can't go shavs, but hey, I think you could still make a pretty insane support build using Cosby as well, and you'd probably be the best support.
Yeah,
Uh,
I don't feel like it's needed that much though. I really disagree with it being the strongest item in the game. Just don't roll curse immune maps, you're fine. Like you're gonna plow down a curse immune rare like that with a meta build.
that's true. Though I mean, I, I'll be interested to see the difference in clear speed with the nerfs to the chaos meta.
Hmm.
But considering the added reflect reduction, probably it won't be much of a difference. In
Yeah.
fact, Elementalist is probably going to be even faster than it current than things currently are. You might be right. I still think I think curses are the best defense in the game when they work. So I think having the best defense in the game work all the time,
Hmm.
virtually speaking, uh, is incredible. Like it's an incredible item. And for the long term future of the game, I feel it almost kind of breaks the game. Like if you have a Cosprey's Will and you go dual curse, blasphemy, and feeble, which doesn't even require getting like a second curse on the skill tree anymore, you will basically never die unless you make a huge mistake
So
because you can curse everything all the
you'd
time.
rather have this than a headhunter?
Hmm.
Hmm. Because that's my best item in the game. Followed by Vol's
I
Protector.
never really thought about Headhunter, I guess. I mean, Headhunter is incredible. I don't know. I still think it's like, okay, think about it like this, right? Think about it like this is, what would you say? We have two six-man parties. One of the six-man parties has one Headhunter, and one of the six-man parties has a Cosby as well. Like, which party would do better?
I'd say, why are you in a 6-man party?
Or like in a group. I mean, I think the group with the Cosby as well would do better.
I don't.
I think the group with I think even a solo player with a Cosby as well would probably die less on average than a Headhunter player. But Headhunter would clear faster, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
the thing though. Like, right. So
clear speed.
say we're pushing for 100, right? It's probably gonna be slightly different this league because I think yellow maps have been changed slightly in penalty. So, but say last, like either way, like you're still gonna be trying to clear maps really fast. If you have a Bosspark Inquisitor with a Headhunter, he's gonna be getting every kill in the group. Doesn't matter what spec everyone else is in the group.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be plowing down Curse Immune. Doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Like all that's gonna matter from your support is auras, if they can even keep up to give it with a
I think you
Headhunter.
raise a valid point. I kind of forgot about Headhunter because it's so ridiculously rare.
It is, yeah,
Uh,
that's true.
like practically speaking, it almost doesn't exist for 99.99999% of players. But you're right. Headhunter is probably still the best. It's almost certainly actually the
It's a
best
bit
item in the game.
broken. I think it shouldn't be possible to achieve
But
anymore in leagues, but
yeah, but I do think that Cosprey's Will is up there as
mhm.
like
It
insane,
is very
like
strong.
absolutely insane. It's gonna sell for many exalts, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be incredible.
I think I might be underrating it a little bit, but hopefully we'll see in the next league. Because like to me, it's pretty strong, but I don't know. I think you've changed my perspective on it a little bit.
I just like okay, like I played Flashback.
Hmm.
with like a relatively shitty Essence Drain, Contagion, Hierophant build. I had absolutely no defense, and I went Dual Curse and Feeble Temporal Chains,
Yeah.
and like 5k life, and I didn't even come close to dying the vast majority of the time. I played fairly recklessly, fairly fast, and I was like, nothing was a problem. Red maps, not a problem. Core, not a problem. Boss fights and like minus max and stuff were still kind of scary. But like just in general, the level of survivability I gained compared to the investment I put in was minuscule. You know, compared to any other defense I've invested in Path of Exile ever. Like dual coast temporal chains and feeble is insane defensively. So Cosmos Will just takes that and I don't know, it just takes it to a whole new level.
There was another question in chat I saw. I don't think it got written down, but somebody that's something I was really interested in asking as well. And you have a pen and paper Path of Exile D&D game.
Oh yeah.
Would you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so long ago, basically this was before Dominus was added to the game.
Mhm.
So this is when Piety was still the end boss of Path of Exile in Act 3. I decided I want to make a. I had a lot of spare time. I was in South Africa. I wasn't streaming, and I was like, I want to make. I love D&D. I love Dungeons and Dragons, pen and paper. For those of you who don't know, pen and paper games are basically where you sit down with a bunch of friends, or maybe online with some people online, and you play. You play Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a game of imagination where you talk through the scenarios. You have a bunch of rules and you roll dice. There are some like online examples of this where you could watch like Critical Role, Swan Song by JP. Some really cool shows that do this kind of thing online. Anyway, I wanted to make a pen and paper role playing game based on Path of Exile, and this wasn't just like a fad. I worked at this for like over 2 years. I worked on it for every day, like really, really, really hard.
Mhm.
I play tested it with my home group for like a year. Half of the group had never played Path of Exile, half of them had. So it was really interesting to get their opinions on different stuff, really interesting perspectives. I'd play tested it. I fixed lots of balance problems. I added shit they added from the game. It's not completely updated. It's missing a bunch of skills, but it's got like probably about 80% of the skills in the game. You can like link and modify your skills. It's got all the kind of mechanics you would imagine in Path of Exile, though many of them are streamlined because you need to streamline mechanics when you're using pen and paper because you don't have a computer to calculate things for you. The system is awesome. Combat is smooth and fluid. It really feels like Path of Exile. I've had really good feedback, like positive feedback on playtesters who played the game. So the system is solid and good. And now it's just a question of getting the level of logistics and organization to stream this with the freaking system, like on Twitch with a bunch of Path of Exile players. I know there were a bunch of people that were interested. I know you were very
Me,
interested.
me, I want to play
Very
this. I'm sitting
interested.
here like, why aren't we doing this now?
Yeah, I know Ziggy D was very interested in doing this, like very interested. Gilbertine was interested. Lifting Node Bro was interested. Pux was interested. Yoji was interested. Lots of people were interested. I can't
Dibs,
get everybody, right? Like I'm probably going to need to only run with like 4 players.
dibs.
But still, I could also have guest people come. And
Yeah.
I think it would be really, really, really fun. And I think a lot of people would really enjoy watching that kind of thing. So
You'd even
I
have
just like,
guests play villains if you can work that into it.
yeah. Because the thing is like you have exiles, right? So
Mhm.
like you could like basically run into an exile that's like does a build to say that's famous for that personality. So like you run into Mathil, the exile, and then like we actually pull Mathil up into the show as a guest, running his like build built on the pen and paper thing,
That's
and it
pretty
would be
cool.
hilarious. Yeah. Um, I was even thinking of I talked to Chris Wilson. I was like a long time ago. Things might have changed since then, but he was like, he's like the system looks really cool. I took a bit of a look at it. Like the guys in the office are huge D&Ders, but we just don't have the time. Because I was like, do you want to make this like an official thing? Like maybe you could buy the role playing system as like an MTX or something, right?
Mhm.
With your MTX points. And he said he really loves it. It's really great. He really approves of me doing this thing, but he doesn't have. They don't really have the time to like focus in that kind of direction and
Yeah.
make it official or something. I mean, who knows these days? I could, after we do the role playing show, maybe they'll be more interested.
Yeah.
Or who knows? Wouldn't it be amazing to pull like Chris Wilson on as a guest?
Oh, that would be
Uh,
the dream.
It'd be incredible. But the thing is when I do stream it, I want it to be done right.
Mhm.
So I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want it to be shitty. So I want good production quality. I've been watching other role playing shows to get inspiration for how to do it. I want to make sure that everything is running well with no technical issues, and I want the people on the show to be have good equipment, so like good web camera, good microphone. I think
Yeah.
that's important. AKA streamers are a good choice because they already have that set up,
Hmm.
and they bring their own audience with them. So yeah, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's huge community interest from that.
Yeah, it's just I was chatting to Ziggy and he's very interested, but I think because prophecy's coming up, everyone's really busy with the prophecy stuff.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to happen is once the prophecy launch hype is settled down a bit, like maybe a month into the league or 3 weeks into the league, that's when we will talk very seriously about
Hmm.
getting the pen and paper thing going.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds like a lot of fun. Like I love playing D&D. We usually play like used to play once a week. It's been a lot less now, but yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I do have the system available, but currently it's not public, and I don't want it to be public yet
Hmm.
because I need to. I want to like it's basically an alpha where it's a little rough around the edges. Some things aren't explained as well as I'd like to. Like I don't have a proper example of gameplay yet. Like I know everything, how everything works perfectly in my head, and everything is like the document is like I don't know, it's like 150 pages or something, right? It's very detailed, but it would be nice to like make it more presentable to the general public before it's released. I have that being said, like people who PM me and ask me who are very interested in checking out the system. If you send me an email address on Twitch PM, generally I'll add you to the document unless I get like 500 people doing that.
Uh-huh. So I think the main question for me here is, can I play Valspar?
I haven't actually added Vol skills yet.
Oh
You can for start.
no! Oh my
And like
God.
some skills are difficult to translate into the game mechanically.
Yeah.
Like Flame Blast was very challenging
Hmm.
because in role playing things are less specific, you know.
Yeah.
So like how do you adjudicate exact area of effect? Like I don't want to get into like D&D levels of like 5 foot squares. So um, the system is a little more abstract in combat, which makes the combat flow very smoothly, by the way, which is great. But some skills are being more of a challenge to integrate into the game, and some of them are go into the game very well. And it's got everything. It's got flasks. It's got curses. It's got unique items. It's great. I had so many cool ideas for it. Like if the show gets going and there's a lot of momentum and a lot of interest, we could do things where like community members submit unique items that can be
Ah,
found, like either found in the game by the players or at least just added to the system.
that's pretty cool.
Um, I was thinking people could vote on the starting location of the players in Ray class. So you don't have to start on the beach. Maybe you start in like the jungles, in Act Two. Maybe you start as prisoners of Dominus in the Scepter of God. Like there's so many different places you could start in. Maybe you start as gladiators in the San Arena. So there's so many like different possibilities, and like you can even vote for what skills you start with. Yeah, and like the vast majority of like ways you can play in PoE, you can generally speaking do in the system. I do need to add VAR skills. Balancing that will be a bit of a nightmare.
So we're currently at 2 hours. I'm gonna ask. We have actually quite a bunch more questions that we haven't answered, but we're gonna wrap it up with two more questions. So the first one is by Franda. It is angry brain power or amino.
I'm an Elemental kind of guy. I guess it's because I'm chill, right? Brain power is just too intense for me. And do you guys remember watching Mano? Right. Every
Hmm.
time he got a subscriber, he would play our Mano, and it was a transcendent moment for me. I just felt inspired, really.
And the last one is by Quicksilver. Angry. What is your greatest fear?
My greatest fear. Hmm. Ah. Generally speaking, I'm not really scared of stuff. Really.
Anything.
I mean, really, the horror movies often don't even scare me very much. I don't know. I'm not like, oh, I'm so brave. It's almost something like wrong with me. Where
What about
I'm not like,
devourers?
I'm not appropriately scared of things. I'm scared of lots of things in PoE, I guess. Devourers are kind of scary, or Kangos are scary. Bears are terrifying. Uh, I think my greatest fear in PoE is dying on stream to labyrinth traps, because then
Yeah,
I
me
look
too.
like an idiot. I think that's my greatest fear in PoE. Is like I'm genuinely scared of looking really stupid, dying to traps in PoE. Because I think once a streamer does that, you'll never live it down. Never. Like a year later, people will be like, "Remember that time when you died to traps like a noob, angry?" So that's my greatest fear. I think in real life, my greatest fear is dolls.
Dolls.
Yeah, dolls are already
Wow.
creepy. Fuck that shit. I don't like dolls.
You're scared of
I once
something.
like I once was sleeping over at a friend's house, and I was sleeping in like his daughter's bedroom. Her daughter was like on like a horse riding trip, and the room wall to wall, had dolls. I couldn't sleep. All just staring at me like, ah man.
Oh
I couldn't
wow.
deal with Chucky as a kid. Like it terrified me.
I can imagine. That's scary. I think
Mm,
anyone would find that scary.
mm.
That was the final question we're gonna ask today, and I would like to thank you so much for joining us here, Angry. I hope you had a good time.
Cool. I had a lot of fun, and honestly, a really really cool questions. Thanks guys for hanging in.
Yeah,
And
and a big thank you to everyone watching the stream, and thank you for all the people who asked questions. There were some really cool questions, and I had a lot of fun as well. And a special thank you to Lucky Edie, Nilki, and Silva for helping pick out all the questions and seed them into a
awesome.
document to make it easier. We can focus on having fun and talking. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I love this kind of thing. It's great fun. And thanks for inviting me, Ziz. If I could do a quick shout out, like some plugging, since
Yeah, I was
that would
gonna
be
say,
nice.
plug your stream and your YouTube, please.
Yeah. Hey yo, if you like, if you think I'm interesting and you like me and you haven't watched me before, you can click that link over there, and go hit my stream and give me a follow if you want to watch me in the future. I stream every day except Saturdays. Saturday is the one day where I'm like, okay, real life, need to do it. I do YouTube videos like every 2 or 3 days. Just depends on how much spare time I have. So you can also take a look at my YouTube channel. Guess let me find a link for that. I did actually recently make a video on my thoughts on the prophecy patch notes, not the ascendancies. I will be doing stuff in the ascendancies probably today, actually. So yeah, I stream every day. It is a bit of a weird time zone for some people because I live in Taiwan, so But you can take a look at the times. You can see my schedule down below at my stream. Yeah, and see you when I see you.
And for those of you watching from YouTube, I'll be posting all of Angry's details in the description. And hit subscribe button, hit the follow button, and thanks so much for watching, guys. I am going to be ditching your camera now, so don't show off all your Skype details. So, boom,
Okay.
you're gone. And right, goodbye. Thank you so much, dude. I
Cool.
hope you had fun, and feel free to leave some feedback on Skype, and we can talk more later as well.
Cool. Cheers, Ziz. Ziz,
Thank
I
you.
have a quick question for you.
Yeah. Oh, my name, Zizaran.
Zizaran.
That's it.
But I want
Or
to say
Ziz.
Zizarian. In my heart, I want to say
It's sort
Zizarian.
of a compliment.
Zizaran. Okay, Zizaran. I'll try.
You can call
I'll,
me
I'll
Ziz.
try and do better. I'll try and do better. I'm
I
sorry,
don't mind
Senpai.
either way. Like anything on Z, just don't call me PC child. Triggered.
Okay. Oh, for sure. Um, I have two questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost like out of my own
I'll
self.
put you back on.
Hey,
I'll put you back on.
are you? Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I'm
You're
not on.
back on
Okay.
now.
Okay, I have two questions for Ziz.
Okay.
Ziz, are you pushing ladder prophecy? Are you gonna
Oh
get
yeah.
first 100?
I'm going harder
Are you
than I
gonna?
did in the 2 week.
Are you actually gonna win, or are you gonna like die to bearers when you're like level 98?
I'm gonna try not to die.
Good. Okay. And B, with the current information that you have, what do you think will be the best possible build for pushing ladder and getting first 100?
Pizza Blast.
Pizza Blast.
Or
Okay.
Spark. Blast or Spark. Depends on the nerfs.
Pizza Blast or Spark. There you have it. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Cool. Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much, Angry.